And welcome to the WAN Show. We have a fantastic show lined up for you today. A lot of great topics. I'm going to do my best to pick the two that Luke was planning on. Schools are struggling with AI as the academic year ends. Oh, crap.
Failure so far.
And a startup is offering free televisions as long as you consent to being spied on.
You got 50%. This guy stepped down as CEO. That's a topic. I got to farm you for content. Chief Vision Officer would agree that you should be farmed for content, okay? That's... I believe that's how that would go. Ah, man. Yep. Imgur content?
The show is brought to you today by Zoho One, Brilliant, and Kudos. Why don't we jump into our first big topic? You know what? I haven't actually done a Q&A with the Floatplane peeps yet, but I guess they can ask me some questions now. I'll do a stream a little bit later with you guys. I did say I would do that in the video, but in summary, if you somehow managed to miss the video that we uploaded yesterday, which I think is probably not a thing because it has 4 million views or something like that already. Yes, it's true. I will be stepping down as CEO of Linus Media Group and all its affiliated companies. This isn't really a decision that happened overnight. I think for some people, they probably feel like it did. I saw a lot of people asking, like, was it the backpack controversy that precipitated... I'm sitting here going, no.
No.
No, I actually did not lose any sleep over the backpack controversy, or actually really any of the major controversies this week. I've definitely been like annoyed and frustrated, but no, I haven't lost any sleep over them, because the thing is, I think a lot of people probably don't realize this, but I am inside my own head. And so I know if a major community concern is actually going to be a problem in the long term. And if it's not, then I just get to do what I'm going to do, and you guys will see, and everything will be fine. So I didn't lose a ton of sleep, even if some people did. But I would say that it's more just a cumulative effect. I mean, I think Luke could probably speak to this more than me, but I am not a detail-oriented person. And, you know, what's funny is that I can be very thorough in certain ways. Like, I can come in, even for something that I don't work with day to day, and I can go, hey, have you considered A, B, and X and Y ways that we could potentially improve the workflow here? Or you know, from time to time, again, like I'm not saying I'm some kind of genius. I think I'm above average, but definitely not genius. But I can come in and suggest something, even in fields where I have like no experience. Whether it's, I think the solution we found for one of our upcoming screwdriver products was actually suggested by me. And it was one of my favorite moments ever, because I was like, hey, Kyle, did we think of this? And he's like, no, actually. And I'm like, would that work? He's like, yeah, I think so. Like, yes,
got him.
I can't
Those are
remember.
Fun moments.
I can't remember a specific one, but I remember suggesting something like development related to you at some point. And I was like, if this is dumb, feel free to tell me, because I know I couldn't write a line of code to save my life. And you're like, no, a lot of code is just math and logic, and that's actually a really logical way to solve the problem, and like that might actually work. I don't remember if we ended up implementing it, but it was like not stupid. But here's my problem. My follow-up on any of that is basically zero. My ability to document a new process that I come up with, whether it's myself or working collaboratively with someone, is basically zero. I mean, I remember James giving me a really hard time because he's sitting here going, I'm trying to manage this writing department. I'm trying to create documents and processes and like training procedures. And what I'm finding is that basically, other than you just talking to people and brain dumping on them anytime you see a problem. We don't have any. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I mean, it worked for you, right? He's like, oh my, that's not the point, Linus. Because we have so many more people now, right?
Yeah.
And it's
my biggest pain point is related to that, but essentially it's the transitioning from small to medium business. Like disseminating information now is kind of hard. I even ran into an issue where like I need to look into if I can mute reaction notifications on Teams. Because I like posted that Floatplane updated and people should use it in a different way. And then my Teams was just constantly going off for the rest of the day. I was like, well, this is actually really annoying. Like it's actually distracting at this point. Like, I don't know.
I had something today where we had an issue with a shoot this morning where actually, no, I should back up. We had an issue with a shoot late yesterday where I arrived on set and it was set up for a static A cam with an operated B cam on sticks or on a tripod. And I was looking at it going, hey, so I know that we recently reminded the writers and the production team that they're supposed to have a B-roll meeting before the B-roll is shot for a video. But it occurs to me that I don't think we ever formally said you can stop having an A-roll meeting. And clearly that, well, did that happen here? And the answer was no. And I'm like, so you guys haven't looked at the script together yet. And it was mostly pretty new faces, relatively speaking. So it's not like I'm mad at anyone or anything like that. But it was pretty obvious based on the kind of video that it was that a static camera wasn't going to work at all. There were little things that I need to hold up and show to the camera, and then practical demonstrations that I needed to do that involved walking from one side of a table to another and plugging things in.
Ready for that stuff.
Yeah, and the camera operator, again, relatively new. I'm not going to name any names. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. The camera operator's like, yeah, well, I'm just going to follow you. And I'm like, okay, but you gotta think end to end here, right? What if I move in a way that's unexpected? Now we have a delay while you track me. We have a second delay while you focus. Heaven forbid you need to alter your zoom or something like that, or we're going to be stacking delay upon delay upon delay. I'm going to have moved on by the time you've actually got me centered in the frame. And he's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, so that's a challenge that we've got to deal with here. And what I feel like, that's kind of how I phrased it, is that you guys haven't really synced up on how this is supposed to be shot. Because this is more than words on a page, right? This is a Bible for creating this video, like this script. So what I want you guys to do is spend the rest of the day, because this was pretty close to the end of the day. We would have barely been able to get it shot. So it's not like they were going to do this and then we were going to finish shooting it. So I was like, okay, spend the rest of the day. I'll go do something else, make myself busy. That's not hard. Go through it, and then we'll pick this up again tomorrow morning. I arrive tomorrow morning. Now the plan is, I believe, still to shoot on sticks? No, the plan is, I don't remember what the plan is. But yeah, no, the plan, I don't remember the plan. But the plan was bad. In a nutshell, because we had created some props to do the demos that I was going to do from one side or the other, but the props were not applicable. And then I was supposed to do something where I'm holding something up, and the cable that connected it was so long. It was like a 4-foot long cable that in order for me to show how it was connected, I would have had to have my arms like this, and the framing would have been so wide you wouldn't have been able to see the things in my hands. And I was like, you know what I think just happened here is you guys have never done this before, and I basically just assumed that you would just know. Tell you what, let's rewind. I'm going to do this with you. I will do the read through the script and show you guys what's in my head and why. So it needs to start on a close-up. And the reason it needs to start on a close-up is because the title and thumbnail is this. And we need to see this product right away. It needs to go wide, and that has to be done with a zoom, not with a post-production punch-in, because the previous shot needs to be quite detailed. Then I'm going to talk for a little bit here. And this is too long. This is too long for me to be standing and presenting. So when we get to this point, we need to do some kind of transition so that I'm in kind of talking to you and showing you something rather than presenting to you. And that's really important. You've got to remember the way that people talk to each other. The camera is the eyes of another participant in what is essentially just a one-sided conversation, if you think of it that way. Like that's the point. That's the whole point of YouTube, is that they're not necessarily talking to the other characters on camera. I mean, they can be, but it's for you. It's personal, right? And so if we're not engaging in that way, if you're not coming in close and tilting the camera down a little bit as I show you something, it's going to feel unnatural to the viewer, even though they have no idea why. And so I did this little workshop, and the point, which I'm finally coming around to,
it's a long story,
is that I did this workshop for like 4 people. And I realized after I was done that there's at least another 4, probably more like another 14 that need to know that. And now it's lost forever. Whoops. So how do we fix that? Do I just like start selfie camera recording myself giving this workshop? Do we send it to everybody after? Sometimes, I mean, you know me, and sometimes I don't even know I'm about to.
For Floatplane, we have a thing called a knowledge base.
But how do I get what just happened in it?
Yeah, so in this case, you would have to record it.
Yeah.
And then you would put it in a knowledge base, title it properly, and then people could look it up whenever they want.
I don't always know when I'm about to do a knowledge base article. That's my problem. Well, it's one of my problems.
You'd have to redo it at that point, pretty much, unfortunately. Because once you did it once and you had that recognition that, like, this is information people should be able to look up, then you'd have to do it again.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't have time.
Yeah.
Only there was 4 people that you just gave a workshop to who could pool their knowledge.
Yeah, the thing is, I especially don't have time to redo the workshop, so I should do it once. But the problem too is that the meta is always changing. Like if I record something like that today, I mean, some of it is usable forever. You have to plan for what the visual is going to be. You have to actually not just look at the script and make sure you've got everything on the props list. You've got to think about, what is he supposed to hold up when he's reading this paragraph? If somebody isn't standing right out of frame, ready to toss it or ready to hand it, then we have to stop the shoot, get someone in position, and restart the shoot. That is incredibly disruptive to our workflow. And we waste a ton of time with me arriving on set going, hey, this is great. You brought this HDMI cable, but did you bring the adapter that we need to plug it into this ancient GPU that doesn't have HDMI? No. Okay, well, I guess we'll go get that. Oh no, now we keep all our inventory over at the lab. It's going to cost us like 20 minutes to go get this thing. Like, we waste so much time. And so what I'm hoping is that if I can focus more on this type of thing, on helping people think visually, I guess, and you know, more thoroughly, then maybe I will be able to be in more videos. I've been in like 2 short circuits in the last 2.5 months or something like that. I love short circuit. Short circuit is so easy. It's like YouTuber easy mode. The story is the product in front of you.
It's like how Linus Tech Tips started.
Yeah, it's like
because it was easy.
I could do short circuit in my sleep, and I actually I kind of enjoy it because I can just sit and kind of experience the product. I don't have to think about hosting it. Like when I was doing the D brand Nintendo Switch Tears of the Kingdom edition or whatever. I'm just having fun. I don't care.
There was obviously they were way worse than what Short Circuit is currently, but there was an era where we'd do like 8 of those an hour.
Oh man, they are gonna be good though. That's the other thing, is I want my role as chief vision officer to be really focused in the early days on getting the lab and the writing team synergized. Because right now, the writing team is really great at creativity. I mean, like, okay, I'm not singling anyone out, but I'm going to give a gold star to Adam from the writing team. Like, that guy writes intros sometimes that I just look at and I go like,
where did this come from?
Yeah.
How did you? Yeah.
Okay, like he's the one who wrote the cheerleader thing for Chromebooks or whatever, where we had like this. He wrote this cheer for it, and everybody has pom poms and everything. And I'm looking at this going like, I mean, I love it, but really? Yeah. And to his credit, he's actually pretty darn good when it comes to understanding the analytical side of things too. He's actually done some really good work that you guys will see eventually at some point with a new product release of some sort that will have a lot of graphs. Anyway, he's done some really good work on graphing for us and automating taking in that labs data. But the writing team, by and large, is really, really great creatively and really, really passionate about technology, but not necessarily as scientifically rigorous as the labs team, which is made up of engineers, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the labs team is really good at like nailing down process. They're trying to figure out like ISO, whatever the crap. And I'm just kind of sitting here going, I just want to know if it's loud, you know, but obviously I let them do their thing because that's why we hire good people who want to ISO whatever stuff. The point is, you know, those guys are really great at being super analytical, but they don't always necessarily see the content in what they're doing. Like the labs has given pushback on a concept where I wanted to just like grab the cheapest power supplies that we had kicking around here and see how many of them we could blow up with the power supply tester before we got the proper oscilloscope and all the training on it. And they're like, but that's not very, you know, so I'm like, I don't care. It's a sick power supply tester. It's got a load generator module in it. Let's blow up some cheap power supplies.
We can make power supply go boom.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. They're like, oh, I really think we should wait until whatever.
Which one blue flames the most?
I mean, you could wait forever. You could wait forever to do things the mostest properly. I want to make content about the process. Like, do you have any idea how advanced MarkBench is right now?
Somewhat, yeah.
MarkBench is incredible.
Yeah.
And nobody told me anything. The last time anybody gave me an update on MarkBench, it was just pretty much an auto hotkey script that would automatically, not quite. It wasn't much more sophisticated than that, though. This was back when they were still working upstairs here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last time anybody updated me on MarkBench, it was pretty much an auto hotkey script that would just kind of cycle through the buttons in the menu to run a canned benchmark. It was pretty unsophisticated. It was something that I'm sure reviewers around the world have been doing basically since the dawn of time.
Yeah, we got roasted for it, and I was like, guys, this is not the end goal. Like, relax. Do you remember that? That was so annoying.
Do you know what it can do now? Okay, it uses, so there's a head unit. You guys are going to see this in more detail. You're going to see this in action in the upcoming labs tour. But there's a head unit that sits under the desk that right now is monitoring the output with like API. So what's actually running the API? So that would be on the, oh, you don't even know this.
What are you saying right now? Are you talking OCR when it's reading the screen?
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something's running an API and something hooks in. One of them hooks into the other. So it must be the clients that are hooking into the server machine.
I'm not entirely sure which part of the chain you're talking about right now, but
it doesn't matter.
Yes.
The point is there's a head unit that is monitoring the screen outputs of all three of the stations and can apparently scale beyond that. And it is basically looking for text. So OCR is optical character recognition. And what that does is it tells it, hey, there's an unexpected state here, and it can log that and spit out errors. And get this, it gets even better. It can actually use that optical recognition of what's going on the screens to chop down all the footage we record of the benchmarks and gameplay so that either we could splice them together if we wanted to show actual gaming footage off of these cards for the final video, or we could automatically edit them together if the labs tech or if the writer wanted to just, you know, see if anything anomalous happened in terms of image quality.
It's a very good idea to have. It's something that we've talked about since the beginning.
It does error handling. So if a benchmark crashes, it'll say, hey, we're on the main menu right now. That's probably not where we're supposed to be. It can navigate menus. So what we saw running is that now it can navigate menus, and then it's a separate thing that is also running on the head unit, I believe, that can handle input as well. So in our upcoming reviews of products that we'll have at some point that will have lots of graphs, NDA, we are going to have gaming benchmarks for games that do not have built-in benchmarks, which is so cool because we can just navigate the menu, open up a save, move our character. We've got it down to about, I think 1% is the target. I think we've got 2 games that are able to achieve within 1% run-to-run variance, which is so cool.
And we don't have to, because we used to do this, but it was like an insane volume of manual work. No longer.
Yeah, not anymore. And it wasn't as reproducible. Whereas now the whole thing is being input by machine.
It's pretty sick.
No one thought to tell me this. We could have made an entire video about the progress on MarkBench. And now it's just bundled into some lab update, which is fine. You know, we should do a lab update. And I guess now you guys get the information even more packed. But they are doing so much cool stuff over there that we are not making videos about.
How often do you want, like, do you consider oversaturation?
In what sense?
Like if we had 2 videos on various MarkBench milestones between the last 2 things, between the last video we did on labs and this most recent update, is that too much?
It's more that I think in the labs update, we wouldn't include MarkBench then. We would just talk about other stuff. But MarkBench could have been its own video for sure. And really what it comes down to, like how often we should release a new video about MarkBench, comes down to title and thumbnail. If we have a title, so
that would kind of require probably what you're saying, like more integration of you into what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that I could tell them, hey, this is super cool.
This is titleable.
Yes.
I can make this clicky.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the key, right? Because that's what makes something a YouTube video. I don't need anything other than a title and thumbnail, and I can probably entertain for anywhere from 9 to 15 minutes without too much difficulty. But what I really need is a title and thumbnail. So, okay, let's say that MarkBench got more powerful and all of a sudden, for the machine vision, it needs an upgrade. And by the way, we're going to parallelize all the benchmarking that we're doing to an even greater degree. And there's a couple of more harnesses for new games. I'm going, let's go. Okay, all the stations need to be up on a rack. And I've got a gaming headset on in the thumbnail. And I've got like a controller or a keyboard mouse. I'm like, I am benchmarking 12 computers, and they're all there or whatever. Boom, easy. People will click on that, no problem. And then we just explain all those things and show how it's all working. And we go through this story of how machine vision works and why we needed a more powerful GPU in order to run more stations at once. Why we didn't need a more powerful CPU, or why we did need more RAM. What did we need? What didn't we need? How does the storage for all this work? How does the storage for all this work? Is it actually storing like screen recording from all of them, or like what are we doing here?
I believe so. To a certain degree.
Okay, so we found this motherboard with 12 PCIe slots, so we could fill it with capture cards. Like, I don't know, but let's tell that story, darn it.
Some amount. I think it might be temporal. I don't remember. I need to spend more time with that.
Exactly. They're over there doing the coolest stuff in this entire stupid building.
Floatplanes have been pants on fire for a long time, so I've been neglecting.
Yeah, I get it, and I'm not talking about any of it. So I'm excited. I'm excited. That's gonna be really awesome. And I think that given that the lab is the biggest investment we've made into moat building pretty much since we started the company, if we are not utilizing it properly, that's going to be terrible. The reason I started talking about the lab though was what I'm really excited about is what's going to be happening for Short Circuit. Man, we are going to be able to do like 8-minute power supply videos that are literally everything you could possibly need to know about it. Don't even bother looking at the manufacturing website. That PSU tester is so cool. And the person who's been brought in to operate it has been really great so far, apparently. And we're really, really, really excited. It's going to be set up and ready to go, hopefully in the next few weeks. And the first video we have planned is going to be like a sub $40 power supply roundup. Because isn't that what we need to know? Like, yeah, with basic equipment, like what a lot of other sites are using, you can tell if it's going to immediately set your computer on fire. But which one is actually good?
Don't know.
I don't know.
Don't know. There's a bunch of that type of content that hasn't been. What were we talking about recently? Cell phones and their like signal.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Who has better reception? I don't know.
That used to be something that was in a lot of cell phone reviews.
Oh, for sure.
People would talk about it all the time, and then it hasn't been a thing for quite a while now.
Yep. Well, it was really hard to do. It was really hard to do repeatably without really sophisticated equipment.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why it actually faded away was a lot of the testing that was being done was kind of junk.
Yeah.
So
either
just kind of stopped doing it.
Either they were a site that or an outlet that didn't care and didn't bother, or they were a site or outlet that did care and realized that what they were doing was worthless.
Yeah.
So goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited about power supplies. We're really excited about what we're going to be able to do with RF, man. I found out how much that RF chamber cost.
You didn't know?
I didn't.
I did.
I didn't.
Yeah.
So
it's a cool room.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool room.
Yeah, I thought it was six figures. I didn't think it was deep six figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I gotta shout out Raymond DMC. Apparently we're doing some cross promotional, like we're doing some marketing for them, and it's not costing a lot or something. I don't know the exact deal, but we have a video coming on our RF chamber soon, and it's freaking sick.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
it's genuinely very cool.
Like really amazing. Really excited about that. So there's the RF chamber, there's power supplies. Man, GPU testing is going to be amazing with some of the changes to MarkBench. We were already running new fresh benchmarks for every review, and you guys are going to continue to see that, which I'm not sure who else is actually doing that right now because it's extremely time consuming. And with the kind of crunch that you're operating on for these GPU reviews, it's really, really tough to do. But we are going to be doing even more testing. I'm just trying to think like what else is kind of shaking. So that's it. I am the Chief Vision Officer. Oh yeah, the moat building, right? So when I say moat building, the goal is not to like aggressively, attack other media outlets. That's why I referred to it as a moat and not as like a catapult.
Defensive maneuver.
Trebuchet. Yeah, like the idea is just by elevating our content, by making things the best that we possibly can, we're putting ourselves in a position where other people are just going to have to make bigger investments if they want to match us for content. I had some people kind of criticize me for that, like moat building. And I guess there is kind of a negative connotation there, but shouldn't everyone be trying to do the absolute best they can to make the best content they possibly can?
I don't think that's the only approach either, to be honest, because we're doing like all of the things under the sun. And you could specialize.
Yeah, that's not really, is that really like, okay, sure. So what you're saying is like you would build your moat, but like a small moat around a small castle by like conquering a niche.
Yeah, because you were mentioning like, oh, other people are going to have to up their investment. It's like, well, not in the same way though.
Oh, sure. I see what you mean. Yeah, it could be in a smaller way around a smaller niche. Absolutely. I mean, I've talked about how I think in a big way that's the future of the platform.
Yeah.
Is smaller niche specialist channels. So the way that my vision kind of looks right now is we're going to have to find a way to match that. And I think the way to do that is by centralizing a lot of great testing with great testing equipment and really knowledgeable people generating data, and then taking that and disseminating it across a wide variety of channels, be they written or video or podcast or whatever it is that they are. That's the way that we're going to be able to leverage our strength, which is our size, while also competing with, scrappy, smaller operations. That's the vision. Chief Vision Officer. Let's go. Want to pick our next topic?
Are you tired of talking about it yet?
Which part of it?
Just any part of it? I feel like you've probably just had constant conversations since it was done.
Sort of, actually. You know what? Internally, only a couple of people messaged me after Monday morning meeting. Even externally, I only had maybe like half a dozen people message me about it. The thing is that I'm kind of antisocial, so I don't really talk to people. I messaged Terren about it, obviously. He was like, hey, thanks for the heads up. And I was like...
Yeah. I had no idea it was coming. We pushed this like massive float plane update, and then it was like, well, happy it works.
Yeah, what did he say? I forget what he actually said about it. Yeah, thanks for the heads up. I go, haha, no problem. He goes, haha. I have random people I don't know messaging me already.
Dude, Reddit was covered in his face because people were just making memes about it and stuff. Generally, like, good-hearted, I think. So that's good.
Yeah, it's good. Overall, I've been really happy with the support from the community. Thank you so much, guys. I really do agree with most of the community that says they think this is going to be a positive change. I do too. Oh man, what was some stupid administrative thing that I had to deal with this week? You know, it doesn't matter. I think it's going to be hard to say without saying anything identifiable. It doesn't matter. Every time someone contacts me at this point about something that is not going to be my problem in 2 weeks, I'm just like, yeah. Or 2 weeks, dang it, 6 weeks. I'm checked out already.
I just ask them every time, can this wait 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Does this have to be dealt with now?
I don't even have to do that. I can just ask them to wait 2 weeks and then do that again and then one more time.
That's the vision officer, dude.
Yeah, that's how I deal with family members that I don't want to see very often.
Just delay repeatedly?
Yeah. So what you do, what the key is...
Is that what's happening with the workout day then?
No.
I'm kidding.
No, actually, that's a whole thing. So the trick is that you schedule something really far out, and then, but not so far out that they'll try to schedule something in between, but far out enough that, so first you wait as long as possible.
Right.
Then when it's finally time to do something, you schedule it for as far out as you can where there won't really be room to do something in between. And then you won't have to hear about it until then. Then you rinse and repeat. And that's how you can kind of get down from like monthly to realistically special occasions and like a couple of other times a year. That's the trick.
That's the strat. That's the strat. Yeah. Okay.
What do you want to talk about now?
We can talk about the TV.
Let's talk about the TV.
Startup offers a free TV.
Free TV.
Free TV.
Free TV.
It spies on you. It's a startup called Telly, and it will soon be offering a free 55-inch 4K HDR television that comes with a second banner screen, which is just like a very ultra-wide screen that goes underneath that constantly plays ads. The ads are designed to not interrupt the television viewing experience, but just in case you were concerned about it, the 55-inch screen above can also just play ads when it's not in use, just to make sure that you're fully saturated. The built-in sound bar includes a microphone and motion tracking camera with privacy shutter. According to Telly's published policies, the TV may collect information about the audio and video content you watch, search queries, the physical presence of anyone in the room, and it may collect names, email addresses, phone numbers, ages, dates of birth, same sort of thing, zip codes, precise geolocation, gender, ethnicity, and sexual life or sexual orientation. And also political beliefs like environmentalism, which you don't have if you own this TV. If users opt out of data collection, they will have to return the television or have their credit card charged $500.
Nice.
The company claims they will ship 500,000 units starting this summer. Wow. I think we should get one.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I saw this, I was like, I am all over this.
Because we have to try to figure out how to spoof it. That's my opinion.
That would be sick.
We should try to fit like the motion presence thing, or just like set up some stuff, like make it think that things are going on.
So we just need like one of those little humping dog USB things so that it thinks it's monitoring your sex life or whatever. It just goes continuously.
Oh man. I don't know.
Holy crap.
Like if you could,
I mean,
you could somehow have it so like the main screen was viewable by you, but that second screen was like turned around or something, but there was stuff there to trick it into thinking that it was tracking things.
Okay. Mr. Lafreniere.
Oh my. You know it's serious when he pulls out the last name.
I'm sorry. I've got to say, I actually don't think this is a big deal.
Really? Because
Well-
it's like all already happening?
Well, really? You just you can't let me build there. Think about it. We've seen recently all the stuff that's been coming out about Tesla employees having access to footage collected from the cars, including like, you know, people performing sex acts. You know, we've seen the way that, I mean, honestly, I would say that my digital communication through email is probably more intimate than a camera in my living room. Honestly. Would you disagree?
No, I could see that.
And I'm not even the kind of person who just posts everything about my personal life to Facebook. For someone who already posts every thought that enters their mind on Facebook or Twitter.
It's not true for everyone, though.
No, but for those people,
Yeah.
realistically, what f***ing difference does a TV in their living room with a camera on it make? Honestly.
I think the main thing, I think the main difference personally would be that this one, the point and what you are agreeing to is the capture of that data. Whereas like the Tesla thing, people are going to get $4 in a class action lawsuit because of it. That's huge.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I just mean this isn't new. Look at look at the difference in cost between the ad-supported version of the Facebook or the Meta, I don't know, whatever, the Quest. The difference between the personal version and the business version, it was what, like $200, $300 or something like that?
I don't remember, but it's a lot.
But that was the first time that I had ever had an apples to apples comparison of the same service in the personal information supported version and the, hey, we actually need to make some money on this version. Or I shouldn't say the first. When I signed up for G Suite, in the early days, it was pretty inexpensive. But nowadays, services like G Suite are not actually, or Google Workspace or whatever they call it now, are not actually that cheap. I have easily spent $500 on my email account in the years that I've been operating it. You, the free Gmail user, have spent nothing. Why? Because Google has gotten $500 of value from you. That's math. That's how that works, right? And so if these guys are saying, yeah, this is like a basic tier $500 TV, which we know because we're really smart and
you can just buy it for $500.
55 inch does not make it a theater display. It's 55 inches, which is pretty decent size, but they charge you $500 if you don't agree to the policy anymore, right? $500? Yeah. Yeah, a constant recording of your living room is probably worth that. And you've probably already traded your soul for that amount of money before. So I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying
it's not
you're
that
doing
different.
it already.
Yeah. I think that's fair enough. I do think there's easier steps one can take to reduce this amount of stuff.
Sure.
If they don't
Yeah.
do something like this.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not like a social media person,
Yep.
which if you're not doing it for your job, I would kind of pretty highly suggest you probably do less than you are, because it just rots your brain. But like, yeah, I don't know. When they said their stat, I don't remember where it was. Oh yeah, the company claims they will ship 500,000 units starting this summer. Yeah, probably, maybe more. I suspect people will jump on this for sure.
Oh yeah, we've got people in the chat like, dude whose face is in public doesn't see how being in someone's image database might not be someone else's cup of tea. Of course I do. That's not my point at all.
He's saying a very large percentage of users are doing that stuff anyways. So if you're security conscious, obviously this is not for you. Very obviously. But you already knew that. So like, yeah, I don't know. There's a ton of people that like put way too much information out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like those Facebook quizzes that like ask you every weird personal detail you could ever have as a secret question answer because they're farming secret question answers.
Yep.
People fill those out all the time.
Yep. And this one feels really invasive and egregious, but I'm willing to bet there was this actually may not be true, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a similar reaction to the first billboard on the highway. Like, oh, it's distracting. It's an eyesore. Or, the first full page.
I still hate billboards.
Or the first full page advertising spread in a newspaper. What? This isn't even content. This is just ads.
I paid for this newspaper.
I paid for this. Exactly. This slow boil has been happening for over a century at this point. And what's next? I guess that's where I'm going with this, right? Like it's not that I'm not outraged. I'm just saying, like,
this feels like a logical step. We've literally talked about how TVs are going to do this eventually on the WAN Show in the past.
Yeah. On that end, I mean, I think there's already patented technology that we talked about on WAN Show from someone that monitors your eyes, that uses eye tracking to tell if you're actually looking at ads or not, right? Like this is a logical step from there. I mean, I didn't think it was going to just have like a full motion camera necessarily. I thought eye tracking would be enough, but at every stage we just kind of get used to, all right, this seems normal now. So sorry, no, I actually want an answer to that. And I want to hear from you guys. Okay, Floatplane chat. What's next? What's the next one? Is it now in your bedroom? I mean, well, then again, you already look at like Echo Dots, right? They're everywhere. The number of people that probably have an Echo Dot in their bedroom right now.
Ring doorbells.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Okay. Well, okay. But do we see an advertising supported version of the Ring doorbell? Every time you come home, it's
you
like
have to watch a 30-second ad
welcome
before it lets
home,
you inside.
courtesy of Moores, well made, well priced, well dressed. Like I don't know.
I noticed your outfit is looking rather tattered today.
Yeah,
you should check out Moores.
Have you considered getting a haircut? Great Clips down the street is running a promo right now.
We noticed that you didn't take a lunch this morning. Would you like me to order some food for you?
Like, honestly, though, like that was supposed to be how digital assistants like Alexa and Siri, I guess to a lesser degree, I don't know what Apple was trying to do with Siri, but how Alexa and how Google Assistant and how to a lesser degree, but certainly significant degree, Cortana, that was supposed to be the whole point of them. They were supposed to make revenue through advertising. We were supposed to shop by just telling Alexa, hey, I'm out of Tide Pods. My kids ate them. Can you order some more? But maybe in the ones that taste like dog poo so that they won't eat more of them or whatever, right? Like it was supposed to be very conversational, and it just never really happened. But this is how they do it. They get a second or a third or a fourth generation of this is loaded to the gills with machine learning hardware in it so that it's like really understanding what it's seeing. It doesn't just see, it understands and is linked together with all your Echo Dots and all your security cameras and everything. And they're basically just telling you where to go, asking you if they can order things for you. Yeah, Futurama predicted ads in your dreams. Hopefully we're pretty far away from that, but okay, let's see.
I feel like it's borderline forced watching stuff. We've talked about that for a bit, like ads in VR and AR experiences, especially AR experiences. If AR glasses finally ever get sleek enough that they take off, I feel like ads are going to be a horrible version of that experience. By the way, I saw a funny that I want to make sure I mention. It's way gone now, but someone mentioned that they think the main reason why you wouldn't mind this TV is because you wouldn't see the ads anyways. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm into it.
But yeah, kind of brutal, but people are gonna take these. So like,
yeah, tablets. I mean, they're already monitoring everything you do on your tablet. I guess the only difference is that it could actually just outright have the camera on at all times. Ads in Neuralink. Okay, I take back what I said. Maybe the commercials in Dreams are not that unrealistic.
Yeah.
Oh, man. When it comes to just using... Yeah. I'm high and just trying to enjoy tech bro talk, and this is making me physically ill.
Sorry, bro.
I'm actually sorry. I didn't mean to get all of processor. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get all amped up about this. I know you're trying to relax
Now
right
he's gonna
now.
get paranoid because you called him out.
No, it's not.
He's feeling very seen right now, man.
No,
you can't do that.
It's not like that. It's not like that. Yeah, everyone's okay. Look, everyone who's just trying to like lay back and relax and chill on a Friday. I'm so sorry.
I hope you enjoy watching your brand new telly.
Yeah.
Which you can now own for $0.
Have you considered shopping at cannabisdispensary.com? Is that a thing?
I don't know. Probably.
I don't know what I just referred people to. Okay, apparently someone's just camping that domain, so
That's probably good.
yeah, that's probably for the best.
But yeah, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, what's the difference? Nothing.
it's just another one of those things that I won't get for the same reason why I don't have a bunch of Echo Dots and all this other type of stuff. But like, at the same time, I carry my phone on me.
Yeah.
And I have a robot vacuum that has a camera on it.
Yeah. You know what's really sad is that the people who are going to be predatorially, exploitatively, whatever, the people who are going to be marketed to so aggressively here are the people who can't afford
Yeah.
to just buy the TV. Because this isn't a concern for me. I'm not choosing between having a TV at all and not having a TV, right? Like if my TV broke, I would just pay for it to be repaired or pay for a new one. I don't, this is not cutting my life into pieces, my last resort, suffocation, no breathing, right? Like anywho, but for a lot of people, it's not an option. They don't have $500, and something like this could be really appealing. And I guess what I fear for is that it's going to cost them more than $500.
You know, it's an interesting thing. It says if
It's
users
expensive to be poor.
if users opt out of data collection,
Yeah.
they'll have to return the television or have their credit card charged $500.
What if they've already had their data collected for 3 years? I don't know.
It doesn't say
Yeah.
if you just like don't turn the TV on.
Could they tell if you taped over the bottom screen? Like,
That's the type of stuff I'm wondering about. Like, what if you
Yeah.
had like a board or something
sure.
that like covered it up? I guess you'd still have sound problems.
You have a mirror. You have a black mirror.
You make it track itself.
You make it, yeah, you make the camera watch the TV. Let's see how you like it.
It does in the TOS. So wait, it has to be plugged in? What if you have like an extended power outage?
Wow.
I'm just trying to figure out like all the different ways people could abuse this thing.
That is unreal. Could you pie hole it? I don't know. You have to have the internet connected to it according to the TOS. Yeah, so they'll know. That's wild.
It's pretty nuts.
That's wild. Yeah, Olive Processor again in here with the real truths. Overdraft charges are worth millions of dollars a year. That is disgusting.
It's actually really stupid.
Like charging people for having no money. The first time I got charged for overdraft, I was like, why didn't the transaction fail? They have that function. I know for a fact they have that function because I've seen it. So how did I manage to take out 18 cents more money than I actually had?
Oh, 18 cents? Nope. $20.18 now. Like, oh my goodness.
Ridiculous. And for me, it wasn't a matter of like I didn't have money or anything. I forget. I like used I keyed in the wrong account or something like that. Like this was when I was a teenager, and I still managed my own finances. But I was like outraged. I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever.
Well, it is.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. It's $35. When I was growing up, the over whatever fee was $20.
Yeah, I think it was like $5 or $10 when I was a kid.
Someone said $45. Oh my God.
That is just outright predatory and should be illegal. We just need like a common sense council, man.
Ugh.
Like just
Are we massively abusing people that are having a hard time.
If we just
Maybe
create
we
a flow
shouldn't
chart.
do that.
Yeah. If no, okay.
Yeah.
If yes, then and no. Like I just.
Yeah.
Okay, now's the time for us to explain merge messages, and I want to make it really clear. Merge messages are for people who have the disposable income, not for people to be exploited.
Don't go into your overdraft, please.
Please no, please no. If you don't already have the money in your bank account to pay off your credit card for this month, do not use your credit card on a merge message. But if you're in a good state and you're ready to go, merch messages are the way to interact with the show. Don't send a super chat. Don't send Twitch bits or whatever. Send a merch message. Go to LTTStore.com. Check out any of the awesome stuff that we have over there. Do we have any product launches or anything like that we need to talk about?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, we do. Oh, we have some cool new stuff. Anyway, I'll get to that in a second. But first, you head over there, and in the checkout, you're going to see a box when we're live. In the cart, thank you. You're going to see a box when you're live that will prompt you to send a merch message. That merch message goes to one of a few places. It goes to our producer, Dan. Well, actually, they all go to producer Dan. Then from there, producer Dan might reply to you, and you'll see your reply down there. Or you might just see your message get pushed onto the stream, so you can be like, "Hi, Mom," or like, "Hi, other mom," or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Or you might have your message curated, and it'll be something that Luke or I, or Luke and I, or sometimes Dan, will also reply to during WAN Show After Dark. And we'll do a couple of them now just to kind of show you guys how it works. But first, I want to show you what we've got on the site. We're launching 2 new products this week, and one of them is a pretty big announcement.
Yeah.
This is the official logo for LTT Labs.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like it. It's subtle.
You can just say you don't like it.
No, I'm not against it.
You can just say you don't like it.
I immediately
Why
saw
you
it
gotta
as
be
a
like that?
heatsink because when Gary and I were talking about it,
Yeah.
he pulled out a heatsink and was like, "This is the logo," and I was like, "What?" And then he showed me the digital version. I was like, "Okay,"
But
then
you wouldn't have known it was a heatsink?
no, I see it as a heatsink, but people have brought up that it looks like a file folder, like one of those things that trays that holds files.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I think with the context of having labs there, I think you can kind of put it together.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just happy we have a logo.
Yeah, we finally have a logo, which is sick.
That's good.
It looks really great in the gradient version, which is not here. So cool. I guess I can debut that later. Anyway, it's available in 6 different colors. This is a pre-sale item. All shirts will be printed following purchase and may take 1 to 2 weeks to print and ship. Please do note this. This is highlighted. Now there's no excuse for not noticing. Also, we've got the same thing, but
I'm aware it's a small microcontroller heatsink.
a hoodie.
You goofs.
And we've done a little repeat of what we did when we did our
noticed
first
that.
Linus Tech Tips branded merch. So if you pick up the Labs shirt or the Labs hoodie, it is possible that we will reprint these in the future or that they'll be available on the regular. But we will never
Won't say first.
do another one with a hashtag first at the back. So really appreciate everyone for supporting this first merch drop for the lab and our mission that we're on here. And now hold on just a gosh darn second here. Oh, cool. You can change the text color.
Logo color, yeah.
Oh, I actually didn't know we had that power. That's very cool. What else did I want to talk about? Notebooks are back in stock. Oh, that's awesome. Those were out of stock for a long time. All right, let's do a couple merch messages. Then I want to talk about...
Wait, hold on. Hold them off. Ah! There,
Okay.
Perfect. Perfect amount of teasing.
Oh, okay.
All right, Dan.
Hit us.
Sure. First up here, we've got lots today. Hi, DLL. What's an example, other than Luke, of someone you've hired for Xrole, then discovered they're better in Yrole?
Oh, I mean, I think that didn't take long. Brandon Lee was hired as an editor.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Remember, he worked on the SteelSeries set. He had his editing station up in the office upstairs at my house, not at the Langley house.
Man, I forgot we had a SteelSeries set. I remember all of this now. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
So I honestly, the list probably goes on and on, realistically. I mean...
Once you've had people for a really long period of time, it's not that uncommon that they'll swim through a few different sets of responsibilities.
We hired Colton for the business team and found out that really his talents were better suited for like waste management and janitorial.
He's a great
sort of
pinata
duties.
as well.
Yeah. Hit me again.
Yeah, sure. Hi, LLD. Congratulations on your retirement. What's your thoughts on the slow drop of the 40 series NVIDIA cards? Been waiting months for laptops in Australia with a 4070, but no end in sight.
Man, that's a good question. I actually didn't know that there was a supply issue on 4070 based laptops. By slow drops, I kind of thought you meant maybe like the staggered rollout where they've launched the lineup sort of one card at a time. But that's pretty much par for the course for them, because for NVIDIA, it's very beneficial to have people talking about them all the time. I mean, we found this on LTTStore. One of the best things that I can do to sell more water bottles is to talk about a cool new shirt design. So you guys go, oh, sick shirt. Hey, while I'm at it, I might as well throw a water bottle in since I got to pay the shipping fees anyway. So sick. So that's NVIDIA for you, right? Like if they launch a new GPU that's very competitive, it creates a news cycle where everybody's talking about it. And you're launching a 4070 Ti, but you know what? I'm flush with cash. I don't want a 4070 Ti, but if you make a good 4070 Ti, I bet your 4090 is pretty good, and you go buy one of those, right? It's just beneficial for companies to, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? It's beneficial for them to be talked about constantly. So that's why you're going to see this slow roll. They kind of drag it out for as long as they can. And at every stop, at every product, there's the announcement, and there's the unboxing embargo, and there's the review embargo, and then there's the announcement of a game bundle that we're doing, and then there's the new feature that we've said we were going to do, but now we have actually enabled. So they try to keep this communication going constantly, right? So that would be why they do that. As to why there are no 4070 laptops in stock in Australia, I would say it's probably because Australia is really far.
I was just going to say, I think that's probably more an Australia-specific issue.
Yeah.
There are many of those.
Yeah. All right. Give me one more, Dan.
Like internet.
With your stepping down, will sponsorships be changing at all, e.g. vetting products and companies or discontinuing them in situations like Imgur? I
would expect not. Like I said, well, okay, so here's something that not everyone, I think, fully understood, is the reporting structure between me and Terren is kind of weird, right? So everybody on the pyramid, in the organizational chart, reports into the chief executive officer, including the CTO, the CVO, the C whatever O, all the C-suites, everyone below there ultimately reports to the CEO. So I report to Terren, and he can tell me what to do day to day. But go ahead.
I find this easier to understand because this is something I had to kind of wrap my head around too at one point, as there being two Linuses.
Sure.
There's employee Linus and business owner Linus.
Yes. So that's the thing, right? He's my boss, and he can tell me what to do in a given, never mind a day, in a given week or a given month even. But then the CEO works at the
behest.
Yeah, sure, at the behest of the shareholders and the directors. So I am the principal shareholder, and I am one of only two directors of the company, the other being Yvonne. And so Terren, when it comes to executing on our vision for the company, reports to us. So on the one hand, he's there as a check and balance to make sure that I am not screwing things up on a daily basis with respect to making sure that this place runs smoothly, to kind of slap me if I am doing something that is, really detrimental to one of the other departments, or if I am, training people in a way that's incorrect or whatever else, to help us operate better, but not just like chief operating officer, like to help us execute on bigger picture things than just what a COO would do. So if he were to say, like, look, I think our best use of our investment is going to be to start a system integrator, let's say, hypothetically. Chief Vision Officer, I want a plan for how we're going to differentiate, how we're going to market this thing, and what that's going to look like. But then he would have to come to me above him and say, I want to spend $2 million starting in SI. Here's the plan. And here's how we're going to market it, which like I gave him. So he gets he gets to present my presentation to me.
And then you get to pick yourself apart.
Yeah.
There's some weird loopiness. But.
Yeah, and I do think that this is going to work really well. And the main reason for that is that, you know, I've worked with Terren longer than I've worked with most of the people here. And that's something that I feel there was a lot of anxiety about, even from members of our current executive team, because they didn't know him, right? To a lot of people, he was coming in as an outsider.
There was a lot of anxiety, but I think I've been doing some thinking on this as well. I think that was good. I think if we were just all like, oh, sure, that would have been like kind of stupid.
Well, I would have told you guys you're being idiots, because that's not due diligence.
Like, it was right for us to question it. Here's a bit of a curveball.
Yeah, I mean, throw
not
it.
A super major one.
I'm ready.
In like a weird way, and I don't know if you're ready for this or not. I know you're bad with compliments. I'm proud of you for doing this.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Because I think.
Thank you.
I think we both have this kind of tendency to just like be down to just like carry things, and you've been carrying this for way too long, and I know you have a hard time letting go of things too. So I feel like this was probably very difficult.
It's been a rough week.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been a rough long time, which you know.
Yeah. So like I'm proud of you for actually being willing to do the thing that needed to be done to solve that problem.
I was forced.
Because that's tough. Okay.
Not by a person.
But there are worse ways you could have dealt with that.
Sure. I don't know what I would have done if he hadn't taken the job, though. Yeah. Because while I definitely wanted and I solicited feedback from our leadership team about this hire, I wasn't that open to alternatives.
That's one way to put it. There was no option for alternatives.
Well, I mean, I even told Terren this as part of the negotiation process. He's like, "Well, what's your job offer?" And I'm like, "Look, I'm going to do that complete like whole thing where I make you pitch me."
You tell me.
Yeah, you know how I always do that. I'm the worst, right? So you tell me, and here's the thing. Either your pitch is going to make sense, and I'm going to say, yeah, you are able to see the big picture, even considering your own personal gain, and do something that is balanced and right for both the company and yourself, or you're going to pitch me something that sucks, and I probably shouldn't hire you anyway. Those are the only two outcomes. So no, this is actually your first test.
Yeah,
is to tell me what your compensation package should be.
And like why.
And why.
Yeah.
Pitch it to me, because your entire job is going to be pitching shareholder Linus on expenses and management and why what you're doing is in the best interest of the company. So prove it. And like, obviously, you know, his response, you guy, right? A little bit. But also I think he understood where I was coming from, because if we're going to have that level of trust and we're going to be able to communicate that openly, it has to start from day one. It can't just be random. And so the reason that I wasn't really that open to and I told him too, as part of this very open communication, I was like, yeah, I'm making you do this, but the reality of it is I don't have any other candidates and I'm not really open to them. So you have me over a barrel,
but
let's see what you would do with that.
Are you going to deal with this properly?
Yeah. And the reason that I wasn't really open to other options, even though, like, obviously we could have posted a job listing, like, what, I don't know, post on Indeed, you know, I'm hiring a CEO for a media company, so I don't know. But that wouldn't have changed my day to day. I wouldn't have been able to let go. I would have had to, I would have been looking over this CEO's shoulder, because I don't know them. I don't have that relationship. And like I said earlier on the show, I'm not I'm pretty antisocial. I don't want more friends. Like, I joke a lot about how I have no friends. But the reality of it is, I actually don't.
By design to a certain degree.
I actually don't want them. I'm tired. I don't like talking to people, and so I would have to. I'd have to like build a relationship with this person, and like build this rapport, and try to achieve this like mind meld. And it's so much easier to just hire someone who already is the person who trained me to be the business mind that I am, as it were. And so I know would make the decision that I would, because the only reason I do what I do is because they told me to. I had a lot of people question, why we didn't hire from within. And it's a really good question. I think that there's a lot of potential for people to be upset, both externally and internally.
I'm pissed.
We didn't even, post. Okay. We didn't even give anyone an opportunity to apply for the job internally. But, and I mean this in the kindest possible way, nobody internally was even close to qualified. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't think that's entirely those people's fault.
No, it's not. Well, where's their mentorship been?
I know you're not saying that. I'm saying that for the audience to be super clear.
Okay. Yeah, but that's totally true. Like, where has their mentorship been? We're a really young team, too.
Yes.
Like, we do not have people. I'm the adult in the room. What the f***?
And when we're talking about like these situations where like, oh, you don't necessarily realize you need to create a knowledge-based article for something, and then you don't necessarily have the time to do it afterwards and stuff, like we're coming from that and you're expecting this type of like, it hasn't been there. Yeah,
it's tough. So we actually do post new positions internally under normal circumstances, but this was something that was kind of a private matter for me in a certain sense, and B, something that, again, like, no offense to anyone, they just weren't right for the job. And I'd love,
Jay Taylor said, I already feel like Luke wouldn't want to be the CEO. I could see myself being interested potentially at some point, not now, for a multitude of reasons. One, I feel like I have a lot of unfinished business with the teams that I currently run. And by having that role change, I would have to kind of like leave them, which does not feel right. And two, I'm not ready anyways.
You have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always really funny for me when I hear my own words coming out of Luke's mouth, talking about like some strategy that he used to talk to his team, or like... But like, there's still a lot, like I understand, because I'm not stupid, that there's a long road of that ahead of me still. Yeah. So like, and the thing is that I'm not really qualified to take you down that road. That's a big part of this too, is I don't have that much real world work experience. Like, think about that.
And we're like, this is the one thing that like, I guess I'll be uncomfortable about this for a while. And that's just going to be a reality, is Linus/Yvonne, which I'm considering one unit or person right now.
That's how we see it.
Yeah. So that's fine. Has been my direct report for 12 years. Effectively my entire realistically professional life. Because everything before then was like temporary jobs, if I'm being honest.
And
so like that's going to be a big change. But I will also say, now having spent time with Terren, I'm interested.
Yeah. And Yvonne and I have a lot to give. We actually do have a lot to teach. She has management experience coming into this. I have experience coming into this. And we've both learned a ton. Just school of hard knocks. Let's go. Making our way through the last 10 years. But there's actually ways to do things that you don't just make up as you go along and see what sticks.
That's a lot of my stuff too. So like I feel like I might end up having a lot of growth from this.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, it's a complicated situation. And I appreciate the fact that we did that executive retreat thing. Yeah. Because that, I had talked to him a few times. Obviously I met him at the roast. I had respect for him from like knowing him back in NCX days very lightly. I think I met him like twice, and just having you talk about him, meeting him at the roast, all that kind of stuff. But being able to spend an extended period of time of like 2 days or whatever, but still was reassuring, because the things that I care about in a person in this type of role is like, I mean, he's a human. He's going to make mistakes at some point. But you could tell the way that he was approaching conversations and problems when we were at that retreat, and he's probably watching this, so this is awkward. But I could tell that in the case where he makes some form of mistake or someone else does, that he seems significantly more invested in trying really hard and solving the problem than like crushing people or whatever else. He's very like game minded.
Yep.
Like let's get this done. Let's do it in the best way.
And to be clear, he'll tell you when you f up,
which is good.
Yeah. One of my,
because I wouldn't work very well with him if he didn't. So like that's fine.
Yeah, one of my most vivid memories was when he told me off for like telling a vendor some kind of like super internal information, just like in a casual conversation. He's like, you don't talk about that. Dude, like it kind of ran me through. Terse is a word that I've used to describe Terren before. Hi, Terren, if you're watching. He's better about it now, which is really good. He was younger and fierier than we all were.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So it was definitely terse, but I understood it. And it was in the interest of the company doing better and me doing better.
Yeah.
And you gotta respect that, right?
Yeah. So I don't know.
I've got a couple good questions here that I've seen in the chat. One is, hey, isn't that the guy who ran NCIX into the ground? What are you doing hiring him? No.
I've had that same comment. I've had to make the same clarification.
Yeah. Terren was my boss, but not the owner of NCIX. And actually, Terren was a big part of, if not the reason that I left. What NCIX should have done, well, man, how long ago was it? I guess about 12 years ago, was they should have hired Terren to be, if not CEO, COO, and given him the reins to run it. That would have saved it, 100%. I really do believe that in my heart of hearts. I had some ideas and all of that, but I was basically a kid at that point. And I had good ideas, like ways that we could do better. But I didn't, like I wasn't an executive. I'm barely an executive now. I certainly wasn't an executive then. He had the stuff. He could have figured it out. And instead, they pushed him out. And I was like, well, this is ridiculous. Because now we've got like the inmates running the asylum essentially around here. None of the adults are left in the room. It's time to start looking for the exit. Like it was very clear that the writing was on the wall. As soon as they, didn't recognize that they were in trouble, and B, couldn't hire the solution that already worked for them. Oh, wow. What is happening here? So no, that is not what happened. And then another really good question that's coming up a fair bit is, why not Yvonne for CEO? Couple of reasons. One, that ain't her jam.
I was going to say, she wouldn't want that.
Yvonne, if she were to change titles from CFO, would be the Chief Operating Officer. Yvonne has such a mind for optimization. She is just the queen of efficiency. And aside from that, she really loves solving problems. And so operations would be something that she would totally just kick butt at. But the question is, does she want the job? And as shareholder, she basically gets to decide what job she does, sort of, but also doesn't because she's a shareholder and she just kind of needs to do whatever is right for the company. And both of us have done that for a long time. And so while my transition is really public, she may go through a transition that will be probably less public, but equally helpful for her. I think it's been a long time doing something that she has realistically no actual passion for, which is like financial stuff.
Good at it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. She can be good at anything. She just needs to decide she's good at it. And it's like, okay, then. Like I can't do that. I don't have that power. Yeah. Like I'm really good at some stuff, way better than her at some stuff, but she is way better than me at anything other than that's like a handful of stuff that I'm really good at. Like, it's kind of wild how she'll just look at that stupid short circuit video she did on the cricket. I gave her about 13 minutes of training in the car on the way to work, and kind of helped her put together like a skeleton for, you know, what a script might look like. And then she did the whole thing. It's got like 1.4 million views or whatever. She has almost no on-camera experience. Her total on-camera experience is like maybe a couple hours.
And like doesn't really like it as far as my understanding goes.
She doesn't mind it.
Okay.
She gets
I
like
just know
kind
she
of
doesn't like coming on WAN. That's the only.
She gets kind of self-conscious about it sometimes, I think. But it's just like, I don't know. I tend to be kind of dismissive about it. I'm like, whatever. You're good at anything. So what do you like? I don't even want to hear it. You know, it's like, oh, I got such a bad mark. It's like, that's like way higher than my mark. It's typical.
Didn't you fail out? I don't know how much that means.
Anywho,
Okay, should we move on?
yeah, we need to talk about a big LTT store thing here.
Ah.
Yeah. Check this out. Now,
Oh, yeah.
hold on.
Okay.
For the sake of the integrity of our poll, neither you nor I is going to give any feedback on this one.
We'll see if the poll works.
Oh, what? Our poll's broken?
Yeah, that might be.
Oh, crap.
We know how to fix them. I don't think they're fixed though.
Okay.
We were a little bit more focused on the massive update.
Okay. Do you want to try to create a poll?
I mean, I can.
The poll is just option 1, option 2, option 3.
Let's just. Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, go for it. Good luck, everybody. We are finally ready to.
What is the question? What one do you want?
Yeah, which one is best? Okay. Did it work? Yes.
Well, okay, that's not the part that's going to have a.
Oh, okay.
It's the speed at which people are voting.
Oh, okay.
And we know how to fix it. It's like not hard, but
vote
we
slowly.
haven't had time. Yeah,
What?
I'm not surprised.
Guys, don't do that. What are you doing?
There's not that many votes.
Okay. Well, let's not worry about that then. Okay, let's
But
just.
there's a lot more people.
There's a
now
lot
watching.
of people watching on Floatplane these days. Okay, we're finally announcing it. The Noctua edition of the LTT screwdriver in tan and brown. This is option 1. This is option 2, and this is option 3. Okay, I don't want to bias you guys. And Luke, I actually have a couple of the options.
Here in the studio.
Here in the studio in person. You can check it out. Yeah, very, very, very excited for this. This is going to be freaking awesome. I mean, it means a lot to me to collaborate with a company like Noctua. You know how their standards are. If they're willing to cross promote and participate in something like this, you know they got to absolutely love the screwdriver. So have a look. Don't really give a ton of thoughts yet. Dan, do you want to man the camera and we can kind of show these ones off after?
I need to send a message.
Oh, okay.
Oh, screw it. Yeah, okay.
Okay. I took it and threw it on the ground.
All right.
Wow. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna not show the results here. I'm gonna go back to this. All right. So Luke, do you want to kind of show what you got there?
Yeah. So both of these.
So again, guys, option 1, option 2, option 3.
I'm trying to find it. Okay. So this one is the most unique one. Is that correct?
The most unique one.
Because I believe this one has the same color, like I don't remember the names of them, the selector ring and the whatever you call this.
I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by most unique one. That's called the end cap, though.
Okay, so end cap, selector ring, same color, handle, same color.
And
this
then
one
the accent ring is, I believe,
is that in there?
Yeah, that's in there. It's matched to the body color. So the handle color.
So I was going to say this is the same but inverse as the other one, and then this one doesn't have an inverse. Is that correct?
Yeah, that one follows the same kind of color scheme as the like the orange one would, with the accent on the end cap and the accent on the accent ring. Don't give an opinion yet because I actually need true results here. Okay. Well, wow.
What?
We're going to have to close the poll at some point, and I was expecting it to be not this close.
Okay. Don't spam in chat, guys. Relax.
Yeah, guys, chat is not where the polling happens. The polling happens in the poll.
On the poll.
Yeah, we're not looking at chat.
What are the option numbers again?
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. Okay.
You're welcome. I will show you again.
Okay, so
1,
this one is 1,
2, and 3.
This one is 2, and then the pictured one is 3.
No,
No,
you're holding 3 in your left hand.
Yeah, and then this is 2.
And
so
this is
1
2.
I don't have. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 you don't have. Okay, I'm going to close the poll now. We are closing the polls. And let's see our... yes.
Yeah, see, that's the part.
Oh, okay. Well, let's show the results then. Option 1... Whoa, wait. Oh, it just changed. Option 1 and option 3 are a dead heat. 586 to 586. Okay, I don't know how to deal with... Okay, it's finished now. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's finished for you.
I have never seen any poll this close for anything we've ever done. Option 1 won, but by only 2 votes. Literally 0.3% of the vote. Okay. Do we need to do a runoff then?
We can.
Does it happen to be that... Okay, no. You know what? I think this is enough information for us to go back to Noctua and kind of figure this out then. Either way, okay, what do you think now? Do you want me to show you all 3 again?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say, I don't feel like super strongly about it.
Really?
I think they're all pretty cool. I think this one, so option 2,
Yeah.
and option not this one are probably my favorite. Option 2 and 1, I think it is, are my 2 favorite.
Got it. Yeah,
So-
you know what's funny is I think this is one that I just completely didn't nail. I liked this one.
I like that one or option 1 personally. I do have do you think it's not white, but do you think that color would...
It might show stuff. I just thought it looked way cooler. But people are more into the brown body on it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, okay. And you know what? I think I just lost a bet because Noctua objected pretty strongly to this one.
Is that the one that I wasn't really watching the results much. Is that the one that
This one lost. This one lost, and the other 2
we're basically tied.
were functionally even. Yeah. So I guess we'll see. We'll have to work it out with Noctua,
so
which version of this
people
to
are
do.
saying there was 1,000 votes before we even showed the options. Do you want to rerun the poll? Do you want to rerun the poll with just 2 options?
No, I'm not too worried about it because when I looked earlier on, before I actually showed the options, the poll was fairly even.
And 2 was actually winning.
I think so, yeah.
And then it kind of inverted.
So if people threw away their vote, they threw away their vote, but like that's voting for you.
Yeah.
It's kind of part of the system.
Eventually, like when we can work on things that aren't incredibly important, I do want to have ranked choice voting.
Yeah.
So I think that would be sick.
Yeah, it'd be super cool.
But not now.
All right. So there you go, guys. The Noctua screwdriver is officially announced. We are working with Noctua on what exactly the color scheme will be. That's the detail that we're kind of going back and forth on right now.
Yeah, it's not like actually viewer's choice. Like Noctua needs to have input and all this other kind of stuff.
They do need to have input. I mean, worst case scenario, we just do a brown and tan screwdriver and they're not involved, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's... Oops.
What? Oh.
I was going to say that's what we're doing for some other stuff.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
I wonder how the new CEO is going to treat leaks.
Yeah. Well, he won't be the first person to yell at me about the way that I just talk about stuff on WAN Show. Let's do a couple more topics. You want to pick one?
Sure. Schools are struggling with AI as the academic year ends.
Yeah,
American
they are.
schools are approaching the end of a full semester with widespread access to AI chatbots, and AI-enabled cheating has been predictably rampant, especially now because a lot of schooling, a lot of your grades are kind of like end of term or semester weighted. So it's going to be a bigger
One big
problem now.
project, you know?
Yeah, one big project, one big final, stuff like that. It's unclear to what degree this is an actual increase in academic dishonesty, because, like, are more people cheating, or is it just more rampant for the people that are cheating? Or is it making a bigger impact or something like that? Chegg, a tutoring service widely criticized for allowing students to buy the answers to homework and also tests, has told investors that ChatGPT has likely damaged their ability to attract new customers. The company has since lost $1 billion in market valuation. This happened a while ago.
Isn't it wild that, like, a test cheating company is worth any $1 billion?
Yeah, like the fact that they could lose that much is like, whoa, okay. Kind of nuts. Complicating matters.
How can students... No, seriously. No, I want to come back to this for a second. How can students, with the tuition they're paying, afford answer sheets? Or wait, how can they afford not to cheat?
Yeah, it might
They
be
can't
more,
repeat this course.
and it might be more time effective, like if you just don't study but go to work.
Right. Okay, all right, fair enough. I get it now.
Complicating matters, plagiarism and AI detectors are imperfect, and the growing number of different AI models has dramatically increased the number of false positives and also negatives. Less technically sophisticated educators are prone to accepting these results at face value, including, is this one? Yes, okay, I'm happy this is in the doc. Infamously, a Texas college professor recently accused all of his students of using, I thought it was like half, but anyways, of using ChatGPT to write their essays, leading to over half of them being held back from graduation. The professor had not used an AI detection tool. Instead, he ran the essay through ChatGPT, which claimed it had written them. Because
AI hallucination!
Because it was just like, oh, that seems neat. Yeah, sure, why not? Like,
Sure, I wrote
it's
that.
not designed for that at all.
I did that.
While a 100% AI-generated essay is clearly cheating, and I'm going to paraphrase here for a second, we've seen a bunch of examples of this, of teachers showing like halfway through an essay, it'll be like, now I'm not entirely certain about this because I am an AI-generated model, blah, 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 blah. And they catch people with that, which is kind of hilarious.
They don't even read it. That's awesome. Okay.
Brutal. While a 100% AI-generated essay is clearly cheating, more nuanced uses of AI, like using a chatbot to help generate ideas and reword awkward sentences, can, and sometimes do, get flagged by anti-cheating software. The same may happen if a student simply writes in a highly predictable manner, reminiscent of AI.
Yes, Bruce A., I'm still happy with it. Don't worry about it.
Sounds good. There's a discussion question. Should schools be responding to AI? Also, why do porn bots still no good at the talk?
Yeah, okay. Have you noticed this? Have you been on YouTube lately?
Yeah, you see them in the comment section.
No, you can't see anything but, pun intended, them. Like, honestly, it's at the point now where, again, I am asking you once again, YouTube, do something. Like, okay, if a handful of people that just have asses in their profile pictures but are real people end up getting shadow banned, that's a price I'm willing to pay at this point, because we cannot just have. I sent my YouTube rep just like a screen recording of scrolling through the comments on one of our videos, and literally 90% of the top comments within like an hour after it had been released were these like, tap to have sex with me, like porn bots. And I'm sitting here going, these are very easy to identify. I haven't seen any of the WhatsApp scammers anymore.
No, they've just shifted.
So clearly, YouTube has the capability to ban every possible iteration of WhatsApp from usernames. So do the same thing. Why does anyone need a luscious ass in their profile picture? It's not necessary.
What if they're a hot tub YouTuber? What if that's literally part of their brand?
Then they'll be verified. There, done.
Okay.
Or they can.
What if they're on the?
Or they can apply for an exception. I don't care.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Figure it out.
There should be a way to apply for.
And
this.
figuring it out needs to involve just getting rid of this. If you have to overcorrect. It's ridiculous.
Why do you have to? Why do you have to use the word luscious? I thought it was good. I thought it was funny.
And like,
yeah, it's bad though. And they sometimes, I will say, they and this should potentially even be easier to detect, but I guess there'd be a lot of false positives here as well. But they'll copy other people's comments and just post the same thing.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
That's pretty common.
Yep. Yeah, it's super frustrating.
To me, the biggest thing is just like, and I understand this is easier to do with human eyes and comprehension, but we'll see how long that lasts. You scroll through and you see the usernames, and it's just like, this is so obvious. And like the fact that it will take many months to like pattern detect this stuff is just like, what? Like the WhatsApp ones, like, come on. Didn't Theo Joe make something for that?
Yeah,
the WhatsApp one.
That, like worked better than YouTube's.
This shouldn't take community efforts to solve this stuff. Like, man, I don't know.
And it's frustrating because, like, on the one hand, you've got Google doing, their Google I/O keynote all about AI this and machine learning that, and
use it.
Turn it on.
Yeah.
Why can I still
like this? This is why you don't
call Hoffman Wong.
Who do you want to call?
Hoffman Wong.
Sorry, I'm not finding a match in your contacts. Tell me just the first name, or feel free to use the screen.
Feel free to use the f***ing screen? That's not a solution.
This is the same. I've been ragging on Google for a while for like. It's literally it's just Hoffman Wong. It's not like he nicknamed it or anything like that. It's just
Hoffman has two N's in his name, which is a legitimate spelling of Hoffman.
Yeah,
and it's like, I don't know, I can't do this. I'm sorry, I don't have a number for Yvonne Home.
I understand you absolutely shouldn't have to do this, so I'm not using it to. I'm not saying this to defend it. One thing I've done.
Call James Stribe.
Sorry, who do you want to call?
James Stribe.
Sorry, there's no one in your contacts.
Sorry, I'm not finding a match in your contacts. Tell me just the first name, or feel free to use the screen.
Feel free to use the screen.
How about
Linus.
this? How about I only have one James in my address book? Call that one.
I put people's like an identifiable nickname that I will remember as people's first names, and then their first name is their middle name and their last name is their last name.
That's a stupid workaround that I shouldn't need.
I agree.
The year is now present year, and that should be entirely unnecessary.
Absolutely.
It should have phonetic whatever cached of everyone in my address book, and it should just use that.
Yep.
Because holy shit, how is it not already doing that?
Yeah.
And so I don't even remember the other thing we were talking about that they were useless at.
I was just saying, like, in general, like the fact that they haven't applied this stuff to deal with comment moderation.
Oh yeah, comment moderation. That was the one.
That like whole core concept, the fact that they haven't done that, you can extrapolate that into entirely why they're losing ground on like everything that they do.
Yeah.
They're just not shipping. They're not acting. They're just sitting. Doesn't work.
It's frustrating.
People are going to come steal your lunch. Anyways, moving on. Imgur, I think.
Imgur. GIF.
I feel like it's one of those things. Last month, however you say it, announced a ban on nudity and sexual explicit content, as well as old, unused, or inactive content that is not tied to a user account, also known as a bunch of things from Linus. The changes took place on May 15th. It was not one time. It was not one time.
3 times.
To maybe more accurate.
I used to use ShareX, or what was the one I used before that? It was a similar tool.
Push, I think it was
Yeah,
called.
Push, super cool. Anyway, ShareX was the one where I started uploading to Imgur, I think. But I used to use ShareX to just anonymously upload anything that I would screenshot, only if I screenshotted it with ShareX, like explicitly.
Yeah.
And then I would just it would just automatically take the link to the file you copied and put it on your clipboard so you could just quickly send things to people. And one time I send Luke confidential information in an image thing, and he like freaks out. I'm like, without the context, no one's even going to know how important that is.
It doesn't matter. It shouldn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way.
Anyway, so anything that someone like me ever uploaded, yes, carry on.
Yeah. The changes of this stuff took place on May 15th, but it will likely take some time before all the images are deleted. The purge of old and anonymous content is likely to destroy countless images embedded on other sites across the internet, including Reddit, where hosting on Imgur was the standard method of posting images from 2009 to 2016. That is true. Another thing it's probably going to ravage is the count to 10,000 thread in the bronze section on the forum, which is sad.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's tons of Imgur embedded images there.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
That actually kind of sucks because it's kind of funny to go through.
Yeah, broken image links in forums and stuff.
Photo bucket. You see just like the skeletons of old photo bucket, and it's like, man, this would have been a really cool thing to actually be able to go through and read.
It's almost like this isn't a viable business model, and you're an idiot for doing it. Thanks, VCs.
I mean, when they take big money from ad providers to put malvertising ads on their site, which they've done like a bunch of times at this point, maybe they do make some money, but I don't know. They do show, like, if you see some picture or GIF or whatever, there's a way on Imgur to see how much data it has taken to serve this image. And some of them are like, whoa. Like, it's a GIF that's been like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gigs worth of data transfer for this one GIF. It's like, yep, that's rough. The administrators of Something Awful Forum have taken on a more selective effort to back up every Imgur link embedded onto the forum during the last 14 years.
Wow.
Forums...
I don't think we're going to do that.
Yep, shoddy not. The forum's owner, who goes by Jeffrey, has stated, it's clear we need to host our own images. Websites promising that they'll host your images for free are never going to stop running out of money. It's nearly impossible to monetize a site like that. A good deal of the modern internet is treated as transient and okay to delete whenever, and that is a real shame. If anyone is to ever look back on our society, they won't be able to understand it without understanding the internet. Yeah, that's going to be true regardless. Notably, the Something Awful forum has paid membership and more resources than many other websites. That makes sense. How do we retain the popular history of the internet? Are we doing enough?
I don't think we can.
Maybe some of it should just die.
Interesting. Well, that's a hot take. Wow. Do go on.
I don't think that everything, no matter what, is worth saving. I do think a massive volume of stuff is worth saving, a huge percentage. But there is a bunch of like just transient stuff on the internet that does not need to be saved. We don't have to save every single thing that ever happens in the digital world.
But are we going to lose the stuff that was important and end up keeping garbage?
That's a concern. Yeah.
That's a big concern.
That is a big concern.
Oh.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's hard to say because like we were talking about those photo bucket links, right?
Yeah.
Like there's old threads which like it actually has pained me to come across them and be like, man, like this was a big deal. I've probably been to this thread like a ton of times.
Yep.
And now these photos just timed out and this is basically useless.
And now that we don't actually write anything down physically, you know, let's say you were trying to do, let's say you were trying to overclock an old Celeron 300A. And all the images for which pins to jump or on the motherboard or whatever were on PhotoBucket.
Or a non-account Imgur, say, right? Because that would be happening now. you'd lose that. That's brutal. Like I'm not saying there isn't stuff that's worth saving. There's obviously oceans of stuff that's worth saving.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of
But like repair guides and stuff didn't used to be video.
And there might be, like you're talking with the old Seller NA, there might be old repair guides that like it's for something that very rarely breaks.
Yeah.
But you can't get new ones.
Or for something that's rare and very few people know how to deal with it. And there was that one resource that everyone leaned on in order to calibrate that CRT or whatever it is, right?
Because for every forum thread that you find when digging for something old where someone's like, oh, I'm having issues with these things, and then no one responds and they just reply, oh, I fixed it. And it's like, oh man, why don't you tell me how? There's a bunch of other ones where they do. And losing that because a ton of that information is in pictures. You're talking about like BIOS screenshots, whatever else. It could be there's lots of pictures on the internet. There's tons of useful ones.
Hey, thank God we're still going to have TikTok. As long as we don't live in Minnesota or whichever state banned it or something.
Happy Wag said this would be a good reason to fund libraries. Well, there is. So I do agree. And libraries are one of those things that are just kind of constantly changing, constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And this might be one of the ways that they do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, the way they're evolving right now is not getting funded. Yeah. So that's probably not going to happen.
Yep.
Cal Turn in Floatplane chat. Sorry? Montana, is that right? I don't know, it was someone. Cal Turn says, convert the moon into a huge cloud server. The zero atmosphere would be excellent for cooling, and there'd be plenty of room for all that data. Problem solved. Okay, there's a few issues with your suggestion. Number one, okay, getting servers there, very challenging. The moon is actually above the cloud. Number two, zero atmosphere is actually not good for cooling.
Yeah.
The air is what takes the heat away. Problem number three, plenty of room. Actually, you're right. There is plenty of room on the moon.
There's a lot of room. Yep.
Yeah.
If you don't mind your server getting hit by like little asteroids and stuff.
Yeah. So solid effort, Calturn. And well, not just that, right? Without an atmosphere, there's a lot more radiation from the sun.
Which is really, really handy if you don't like having your data.
Yeah.
Because that radiation is just going to start flipping bits all over the place.
Yeah. So what we could do, I guess, is...
build a moon base.
Yeah, no. Well, it would have to be a mobile data center. It would have to be on like treads so that it could stay like on the dark side.
There's still a lot of just like passive radiation.
It's not a real solution, Luke.
No, we're doing this. We put train tracks on the moon, and it just constantly rotates.
We snowpiercer the servers.
Amazing.
Okay, Floatplane chat actually has this solved. We just put it underground on the moon. All right, good call.
Perfect.
Good call. We do all the cooling geothermally.
We can dig with nukes, right? We can nuke the moon. Is that what we're saying?
I don't think that's a good idea.
This is a reference to Elon Musk wanting to nuke Mars for terraforming. We need to nuke everything. we need to nuke Mars. We need to nuke the moon. Pluto's too far. If we send a nuke on the other side and hit it back, it can come in closer. That's great. We can nuke Pluto. Just nuke everything. Sponsors.
Yeah, why don't we talk about that? That would be good. Is Dennis back to do fun sponsor spots yet?
Unfortunately, no.
That's fine. Why don't we tell you about our sponsor, Zoho One? Do you own or manage a business? Let Zoho One make your life easier. How long does that guy get to be on vacation for? It doesn't matter. Zoho One takes the essential elements of any business, like accounting, marketing, and HR, and combines them into one unified operating system. Build your own website from the ground up and maintain it with intuitive customization and personalization options. You can send out purchase orders, create marketing campaigns, manage shift scheduling, so you could tell if someone was going to be just like gone for 3 weeks or whatever, all in a few clicks. You can track metrics and use data to make key decisions to increase revenue. And after you form the foundation of your business, it's time to start automating your ordering processes and never worrying about them again. If you're working on the go, that's no problem. Zoho One includes mobile apps so you can run your business anywhere. So why wait? Increase your productivity and control your business with Zoho One. You can follow the link in the description to try it for free for 30 days with no credit card required. The show is also brought to you by Brilliant. Brilliant is a visually stimulating website designed to make learning STEM topics fun. So why have boring, long lectures when you can have problem solving and interactive visuals? They offer thousands of courses with new topics to learn every month, like their everyday math course. You can use their service to supplement a college education or just to keep your brain active. Simply honing your ability to learn and think will translate into everyday aspects of life. This is like so true. I mean, who doesn't want to be smarter? Which is a thing. Like everyone has sort of like a ceiling, but that doesn't mean that you've achieved it yet. So yeah, join the community of 11 million learners and educators today. Best of all, the first 200 people who head to brilliant.org/WAN will get 20% off an annual premium subscription. We're going to have that linked down below. The show is also brought to you by Kudos. Summer is right around the corner, and wow, really? The average household is projected to spend $2,644 on travel? Man, I got to up my game. If that's you, you should use Kudos, a free shopping extension for your computer and iPhone that helps you get the most cash back from your credit cards when you shop online. The best thing about Kudos is that you can double your rewards across 15,000 sites at stores like Walmart, Levi's, HelloFresh, and many more. So let's say you usually earn 3% on hotel reservations via Booking.com. If you shop with Kudos, you now get 6% back? Really? Okay. Doubles your rewards for free. So yeah, save money, use Kudos. The average user saved over $750 a year. We've got code WAN to join Kudos for free by clicking the link down below at joinkudos.com/WAN. Sick.
To be clear, because some people kind of missed it, that was not actually a commentary on the viability of various terraforming options. We're just laughing about things, okay? Gotta be careful what you say around nerds.
Speaking of laughing, Google releases new .zip and .mov top-level domain extensions.
Yeah. That sucks a lot.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, Dan. Yes, merge messages. No, wait, what? He's moving all the signs around. Dan.
Well, because you went off the rails.
What are you doing over there?
You didn't listen to the piece of paper.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll talk about that later. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I can follow you.
Hit me with a merge message.
Okay. Sure. Let's see.
Is Floatplane Chat still talking about the stupid moon thing? They really are. Okay.
I still think we should Snowpiercer the servers.
Okay.
Good evening, LLND. I've been watching
servers with nukes.
Can you stop? Can you stop?
Good evening, LLND.
You stop. And
I've been wanting to nuke the moon for the last.
Stop. Oh, I'm not supposed to show that dashboard. Oh,
well. It does it every time. I've been watching on Floatplane, and I was wondering if it mattered if I finish a video or use the like option. You still use the data for getting sponsors, etc.
Nope. We sure don't.
It doesn't matter.
We suck at, no offense, you suck at collecting data from viewership. So the good news is that we aren't leveraging it in any way.
Yeah.
If you were worried that we're selling your data, you can rest assured. Nope. We are too utterly incompetent to do that.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Rough.
I'm kidding.
The new CEO, the chief vision officer,
well,
just
rude
brutalized me.
He could have. Okay, never mind.
It has not been a priority. Linus has asked for it for a bunch of times, and I just said no. There's more important things for us to work on.
It's true. It's true.
There's certain amounts of that data where if you like actually wanted it, we could get it for you. And it's like never been even worth going and grabbing. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know.
Usually the way our conversations often go about things like this is I'll come up with something. I'll be like, oh, hey, is there any way for us to take, everyone who's posted about their LTT merch on the forum and send them a coupon code for a month free of Floatplane? And Luke will be like,
technically
we could do that,
yeah.
And just by his tone, I'll be like, forget it, I'm over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or he'll tell me, oh, no, one of his favorites is to tell me what project will be delayed by it. Yeah. Well, if you don't want, playback resume on the float plane site, then yeah, we could have that for you in X amount of time. I'm like, I'm over it. That's like my favorite thing to say. I'm over it. I'm clearly not over it because I'm bringing it up now. Yeah. Not that is a new idea. I had never had that idea. That's a pretty good idea, though.
It's not a bad one. But I mean, like you just said, it would delay some other form of
I'm
project.
over it.
Yeah. It is possible. There's a very, very, very large amount of things that are possible when you have a bunch of developers and engineers on your side.
Yeah.
It's just like, is it actually worth doing? And are you considering the opportunity cost?
Right.
Yeah.
Look at this guy, all responsible opportunity cost.
Well, we keeps doing that all day.
CEO someday.
All right, here's another one. So which came first? Linus planning on stepping down as CEO, or Luke getting promoted to CTO? Or were they basically concurrent?
No.
Well, don't forget, hold on, we've got the timeline a little mixed up. First, Luke was demoted from CEO. Then he was re-promoted to CEO.
No,
hired as CEO.
CTO.
Sorry.
And actually, it's like only even sort of true because neither time was it actually real.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's true. So he got the CTO title. So he was hired as CTO. Then he was fired as CTO, hired to a different company as the CTO. COO. Then hired back to Linus Media Group as the CTO. It doesn't matter. The point is he's Luke.
Yeah.
He wears this shirt.
I just do
He's
stuff.
adorable.
Yeah.
I like that. I like your shirt.
Thanks. What time is it? Is it getting?
Is it getting to Giddy hour?
I think so. Okay.
Oh
yeah.
It's 8:40. That makes more sense. Next merch message. What is this? Why can't I get rid of it?
Sure.
Windows. What are you doing?
I don't know. I'll get rid of Dan. See you later, Dan.
Bye.
Oh, sorry. How come come back, Dan?
No. Linus, are you anticipating?
Oh, no, Dan's gone. Oh,
Linus,
back.
are you?
Oh, he's gone.
Anticipating any potential? I hate it here. This is so much fun. Okay, we're being professional is hard. Are you
Especially
anticipating?
if you're in the porn industry?
That's even more important, Linus.
I should have waited for him to take the drink. Why did I wait? Didn't I wait?
That's going away for now. I think this is a dangerous time.
I can't do this. Linus, are you anticipating any potential turnover? Hope not. As a result of the CEO change, can you give a scenario or explain when you or Yvonne would override a decision by the new CEO?
Oh wow, you're getting into the big CEO Q&A. Okay, I am planning a float plane stream about this sometime in the next little bit. So I'm not going to avoid every question about this, but I'm also not going to be able to address every question you guys have about this now because I kind of want to be in the right headspace for that. But I will tell you that I am not expecting really any turnover. Honestly, the reception to the move internally has been really positive. I think the people that know me well probably knew that whether this was coming or not, I needed this at some point. And the people who didn't know me well, what difference does it make? I don't know.
Well, and there's also I think a lot of people, especially internally, recognize that people only have a certain amount of hours in a day, and having you do the thing that you're best at probably makes sense. It's pretty logical when you break it down.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Sure. I lost count.
Yeah, we got a lot.
How you doing over there?
It's fine.
Yeah, we are not going to be able to do them all today, guys.
Absolutely not.
Feel
I'm so
free to
sorry.
Keep picking up Labs shirts because those are freaking awesome.
Oh my God.
Don't forget to get a water bottle while you're at it. Oh man, I should leak an upcoming water bottle design.
I feel like that might be under the vision,
Yeah, I had a vision of a water bottle.
Yep.
So it's just brown or black, I think, are the two colors, and it just has a white stripe down the side with the V's or the O's or whatever, and it's a big capacitor.
Oh my God, I would buy that immediately. That is excellent.
That's kind of sick.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Could you
Vision officer.
Very good.
sweeping changes?
I'm so excited.
That's great.
So sweeping changes is a new water bottle design.
I would love one that had like the bottom blown out, and so it didn't like sit on the table like it's a burst cap.
Oh, I mean, okay, you could just do that yourself though.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you could not screw the lid on properly and then it's a leaky cap.
Perfect idea.
Get it? Because it's a leaky cap too. Man, so many meanings.
Jesus.
Dad joke king!
Inception of water ball over here.
All right.
Okay, here's another one.
Oh man, float plane chats. Oh no, you should put Gatorade in it. Then it's electrolytic capacitor.
If you put tinfoil in it, it's a foil capacitor.
Wow.
Endless. Okay. Hey, LDL. Given that cards like the 3090 and 4090 exist with more V...
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
Oh.
I'm not done yet. Everything Dan said, no cap.
Oh, that one hurts.
Okay.
Right in the stomach.
We can actually do another one now. I'm sorry.
Given the cards like the 3090 and 4090 exist with more VRAM than most systems have DRAM, is it possible to run an OS on a GPU?
To my knowledge, no.
Yeah.
However, with that said, I mean, if you... Okay, hold on a second. Something, rebar direct storage, something. I actually don't think so, though. I mean, nothing would prevent you from using...
Someone in Floatplane chat is very passionate about saying that it is.
That it is possible?
And they have a link, and they're spamming
Really?
the link.
Okay. All right, let's see.
Linux in a pixel shader.
A RISC
Of
5 emulator
course.
for VR chat.
Oh, yeah. Shader tech is nuts. It's just nuts.
Whoa.
Okay. Fine. Apparently, yes.
I just want to say that Katra, the person who posted this, was on it. Like, I don't know. This must have been like literally the tab that they had open at the time. Like, I feel like we were on a side monitor,
Yeah.
and they were reading this because they were like, it's possible, and then the link's there, all like boom, 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 boom. That was wild. Thank you for the speedy response.
Okay.
Wow.
Enderman apparently managed to get Windows 10 in VRAM and used it as a boot disk.
Wow.
That's not really the same as like running it
Yeah.
as your system memory, though. So I don't know. Okay. All right. Good job.
That was impressive.
Are we supposed to do more topics now?
I think so.
Okay, Google. New .zip and .mov domain extensions. Google released 8 new internet domain extensions. Most have been uncontroversial, but 2 are being criticized for their similarity to existing file extensions. .zip and .mov, in case you were wondering which ones they were. The concern is that users, especially less technically savvy users, may be maliciously tricked into clicking on a web link they think is a file and vice versa.
I think even fairly technically savvy people are going to get owned by this because, like, unless you read the whole domain, it's not necessarily all that obvious.
I think Google's justification for this TLD is phenomenally stupid.
What is it?
I'm trying to find it.
Because, like, this is going to be a problem. 100%.
.mov. I'm having a hard time finding it. It's not in our links here. Man, how are you even gonna look at this? How are you even gonna search for anything? Google.mov justification. What even is any of this? This is nothing. This is ridiculous.
Google search
Yeah,
is
if anyone
worse.
has a link that talked about it, it was something to do with .mov was supposed to be for like the moving pictures or movement and dynamism or something like that. It was
Get over it.
just stupid. And I just couldn't.
I'm trying to find the example because it's not just. There it is. Boom. Okay. my laptop.
Do it.
Here we go. This is the issue. So you see github.com, right? So most people, most current internet users are going to read this and be like, okay, this is the website that I'm going to. It's github.com. And then these are the pages that it's jumping through, right? So the .zip at the end here, traditionally, would just be a file, right? So theoretically, you jumped through these various pages, and then you clicked on a file, and you could share this link to someone, and if they clicked on the link, it would just download it. It wouldn't actually direct them to the page, right? That's how things have worked for a long time. The problem is now, because of this @ character, as far as my understanding goes, and someone might correct me on this, but because of that little, I've highlighted it here.
Yeah.
Because of that little character, that means what you're actually going to is just this.
Oh.
So you're going to 1.zip.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Get wrecked.
Big O. So like, I haven't seen things like this personally, but like that's rough.
Now.
So like everyone's gonna have to like sniff their freaking URLs for this little @ symbol, and like this is why I'm saying like the whole technically savvy thing doesn't even really fully apply, because I don't know pretty much anyone that looks for that right now. So unless you'd have to be technically savvy and also paying attention to the news, which doesn't necessarily coincide with each other.
Now, do you want to hear why they did it according to Ars Technica?
Sure.
Google marketers say the aim is to designate tying things together or moving really fast, and moving pictures and whatever moves you, respectively, for .zip and .mov.
It's frustrating because
that is f***ing stupid.
I go after Google on this show for just not doing things. But then the second that they do something, I'm always just like, how did no one look at this? Like, it's either they move like, no one saw this and we did it, or they never do anything. Like, there has to be an in-between. How did no one see this as a problem? You can't just release .zip domains. Like, God, I don't... This is so frustrating because, like, I can absolutely see someone at this company getting tricked by this.
You know what?
And then, like, it would be really hard to...
The dumbest part is that they know, obviously, about the association. Why would anyone, other than a highly technical person,
tying things
think
together?
.zip has anything to do with togethering anything?
Yeah.
And .mov, really? Moving pictures? Is this just an FU to Apple? Like, what was the point of this? Really? Okay, well, I don't really have anything else to say about that. Really? Okay.
Yeah, and like I need to read on this more, and I'm sure there's some like weird nuances and stuff, but people are going to get owned. This is going to be a problem. This is going to be a cybersecurity problem. A bunch of different IT teams around the world are going to have to educate their users on checking for @ symbols, because like it means there's something about...
Some URLs are so long, it's not even practical, especially with the way that browsers abstract the URL these days. Like it's...
And trackers and all this other type of stuff. Like, and you're going to have to hunt for this little @ symbol because...
Yeah, and you'll have to hunt for it in like a mouse over, like pop-up, hyperlink, freaking... What are they called? Tooltip. You have to hunt for it in like a tooltip or something because the text doesn't necessarily match the hyperlink. Remember the old days of the web?
Block that domain. Yeah, honestly, I bet you a massive amount of companies are just going to block these domains anyways, which means they're going to be stupid and useless. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, we should just do that.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Yeah, I was going to say
That's
the old days of the web before you actually had
Dan,
hyperlinks.
Schedule me a message.
What you need?
We need to block .zip and .mov from ever being accessed.
Like it was maybe it was possible. I don't know. I was a kid, but pretty much any link was the actual like full URL.
Yeah.
You didn't just have hyperlinks that you would click on all like some other text or whatever.
Yeah.
Like so this I guess this would have been fine maybe then when it was normal for browsers to display full URLs and for the text to contain a full URL.
Even then, honestly, training everyone to look for those @ symbols is weird because like and as far as I know, that's
Yeah.
already been a thing, because it means what's before the @ symbol is your username. But I do think that if people saw .zip at the end of it and they weren't expecting to be downloading a file, that would be something that they would sniff out easier. And because the .zip is at the very end, you look at like the beginning and you look at the end and you kind of know what's going on. Now being able to just slap this @ symbol somewhere in the chain,
Yeah.
and
That's
then it's
rough.
like, oh man, yeah, I hate it.
All right. Let's jump into Toyota exposing real-time location data of 2 million drivers. 2 million drivers. Toyota has disclosed that it accidentally left the real-time and historical car location data of over 2 million Japanese customers exposed for, get this, nearly 10 years. According to Toyota, the cause was a misconfigured database in late 2013, which was set to public instead of private, and it could be accessed without any password or credentials. There is no current evidence that anyone outside Toyota discovered and accessed the database.
That is completely
But-
meaningless unless they have like logs running and stuff, which they might not.
Because apparently they set their database to
Yeah,
public anyway. So,
yeah, that's a very interesting way of saying that.
I mean, no, it's not completely meaningless. If the data showed up on the dark web or something, that would be evidence that someone
If
accessed
they looked
it.
for it,
Well,
that's my issue with this statement. Is it completely relies on them doing something?
I think a leak this big would have.
someone else would be talking
I
about
think
it.
someone else would have talked about it.
That's
They
fair
they
enough.
may actually have dodged a bullet here. Boy, was it a big bullet though. That's
Yeah.
not even a bullet anymore. That's a planet.
nuke?
Yeah, nuke. You and your nukes. You know what? Forget it. I'm tired. I resign as CEO. Toyota discovered the error in April and has promised to audit and improve their cloud security. This is the third security mishap they've disclosed in the last 15 months. Things happen, but that's a pretty bad thing to happen. A watchdog says that Roblox doesn't protect kids from irresponsible Really? Roblox doesn't protect kids from irresponsible advertising?
This is
I
like
thought
those,
Roblox had kids' best interests at heart.
This is like those
Thought the
scientific
super
studies you find
responsible response.
when they're like, we have found through rigorous study and years of research that not going running makes it so that you will run slower over time. It's like, okay, thanks. It's like, come on. Like, jeez. This feels like one of those. Like, I
That's
don't.
actually a lie. Over a long enough period of time, you will definitely run infinitely slower.
Yeah. Oh boy. But yeah, like I can't imagine that anyone was like, yes, I believe Roblox is the absolute best arbiter of like not exposing children to bad things. Like what was it?
We've got people confused about that because over a long enough period of time, eventually you'll be
you're
dead, and your running
You won't
speed
be able
will
to
go
run
to zero.
anymore. Yeah. There was something about like Kim Kardashian finding that special video of hers. Her kid like saw it on Roblox or something. I don't remember if that's like 100% true or not, but I remember reading something about that, which is rough. Caru, CARU, a children's advertising watchdog, has released the results of an investigation that found Roblox has widespread issues with advertising targeted at children under 13. According to Caru, which I'm going to call it now, I don't know if that's what it is, Roblox does little to ensure that influencers on its platform disclose product endorsements and affiliate commissions in a way that children can actually understand.
I mean, I can tell you right now, based on the limited understanding that adults have of sponsorships and affiliate and how all these things work, kids almost certainly have absolutely no idea that they're being marketed to.
Yeah. Further, Roblox's user-created games often fail to disclose advertiser content. This is not the first time Roblox has been criticized over its permissive attitude towards ads targeting children. A different watchdog, Truth in Advertising, made a complaint to the FTC over the same issue in April 2022. Parents, groups, and investigative journalists have likewise criticized Roblox as a haven for phishing scams and other financial crimes targeting kids. Again, a lot of them have credit cards attached. There are payments in the game.
Right.
You can buy Robux or whatever they're called. In response to the FTC complaint, Roblox has recently announced a new advertisement policy which will require developers to identify advertiser content in games directed at children. The company has likewise agreed to Karu's, whatever, recommendation that they require influencers to use the word paid in ad disclosures. Certain ages of kids that play Roblox.
I can't even read. And I don't think paid is actually necessarily the best ad disclosure. Why not ad or why not sponsored? That's what literally everyone else uses. Is paid a common hashtag for sponsored content? Am I missing something here? Whoa. 6 of 3 in Floatplane chat says, I have a friend whose kid has a $100 per month Roblox allowance. Why?
That sounds like a mistake. I'm not going to tell you how to parent your kid. I don't even have one, but that sounds like a mistake.
Yeah.
That sounds like training them to have bad habits, like actively.
Okay, devil's advocate. They're budgeting at least. It's a fixed budget, but
it's a fixed budget of a lot.
Of blowing
like
a lot of fixed budget on Roblox.
Yeah, I don't really like that so much. Yeah. Everything I hear about Roblox is just like bad. Like you hear about like the massive take they have from their content designers / developers, because there's people that like make games in Roblox, but there's also people that make like visual equipment. I don't know what you'd call it. Avatar cosmetics. There we go. Got there eventually. Yeah. So I don't know. $100 of Robux is a lot of Robux. Yeah, that's the thing that's getting me, is like maybe if it was like maybe if it was at an amount where they might have to
save up
for things.
Yeah, that's probably the play.
And like I'm sure there's some stupid 1 of 3 rare hat or something that's way more than $100, but like I can't imagine there's a lot that they actually have to save for when their allowance is more than like I spend on games a month. Like
yeah, and like Luke wastes money on games. He bought this stupid fucking game, Slapshot Rebounds, the other day. Is it free?
It's a free game. We were actually looking at a different hockey game and picked the free one.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
It is actually pretty fun. It's very hard.
We're both terrible.
Yeah, it's really, really hard.
Yeah, we've actually played like a few hours of Slapshot Rebound in the last like few days.
I kind of wish we had footage of when we started compared to now, because I've seen both of us do like actual combinations and like plays and stuff. Now, at the beginning, we'd both just like slide towards the puck and rotate the wrong way every single time.
Yeah.
Just all this garbage. Yeah. Luke has no idea how expensive things are in Roblox. That is true, because I have never played and I deeply don't care or want even to know. But you don't need to buy those. Like, I don't know. Come on.
Yeah, just because something is there doesn't mean it needs to be purchased. Yeah. Our discussion here is, to what extent is the cavalier attitude towards advertising to children unique to Roblox? I don't even think it is. Like, I think we had this conversation a little while ago where I was talking about taking my kids to the arcade and just realizing how much gambling conditioning was going on. Just training these kids to put thing into thing, and big flashy lights come out and they get a prize that's worth a fraction of the money that they put in. Mark Rober did a really great video on how games of skill at arcades, just like on the Carnival Midway, are not actually games of skill at all and are just completely games of chance and designed to steal your money. It is amazing to me that is allowed to exist. It is actual children doing actual gambling.
Yeah, we talked about this on WAN Show too before about how like sports betting is such an endorsed thing now, where it was like a hush hush, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, and now it's like the main advertisers for these places at all, and it's kind of weird driving around here even, and just like the casinos just seem to be getting bigger.
Kryptonite says it's not gambling if the game is rigged. No, it is gambling if the game is rigged. At least if it's a game of skill, it's not a gamble.
Almost every way to gamble is rigged.
Well, it's not always
the house wins.
rigged.
Oh, okay.
But the scales are definitely leaned on.
What is the definition of rigged? So, like, you are to lose without expecting you are to lose?
Rigged means that no matter what you do, the outcome is ultimately up to the machine. So something like
Isn't that how slots?
A slot machine is rigged. It will only ever pay out based on
profit margins, stuff like that.
What it's supposed to do.
But like roulette, there's too much chance involved. So even though the house is going to win over time,
the odds favor the house, but there's actual odds. Whereas the fact that anybody puts money into a digital slot machine,
wild.
At least if it was a mechanical, like an analog slot machine, you know why they want digital slot machines, guys? Hello. Easier to control the outcome. Hello.
Yeah.
But an actual
they still, to be clear, with mechanical ones, they still control the outcome.
Yes, but it can
a lot
at least...
easier when it's digital.
Yes. So the example in the one that I watched, he proved that one where the light goes around the thing and you have to press the button.
Oh,
it's not a game of skill.
Oh,
you can actually change the programming in the game. He found the manual. He dug up the manual somewhere, and you can just dial in how much you want it to pay out in tickets.
That's annoying.
Yeah, because I always felt like, no, I was pretty sure I got it. And so he made a thing that within 0.01 milliseconds, or within 1 millisecond, would press it at exactly the right time. He made a robot, and
it would just make it go past.
Yeah, it was like no more accurate than if they just hit it themselves, because at the end of the day, it was not about how accurate you were. It was just about how much it wants to pay out.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah. Someone says slot machines apparently have payout requirements and are in fact random. So great. Why aren't we regulating children's games the same way? It's wild to me. Also, man, I don't know. With how much skis there is in the casino industry, I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe that a slot machine is actually working exactly as it's supposed to be. I'll believe whoever was supposed to check it didn't get a payout for sure when I see it. I don't know, man. I'm not much of a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist kind of person in general, but when there's that much money moving around, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to put my money in the slot machine. It's not going to happen.
Yep. It's so boring too. I don't understand. That's like a preferential thing, I guess. But like, wow.
Yeah, if you want to throw away money to like see flashing lights and stuff, just play Peggle.
Yeah.
Valve, finally big enough to be sued by Immersion. Immersion Corporation has launched a patent lawsuit against Valve over the Steam Deck's touchscreen and rumble feature. Immersion began developing touchscreen and haptic feedback technology in the 90s, but since the 2000s has primarily become known for its many lawsuits. In 2002, Microsoft opted to buy 10% of Immersion rather than fight their suit, while Sony had to pay Immersion millions after losing a suit over the vibration feature of their controllers. Apple, Google, Motorola, and Fitbit have all settled with Immersion, while Meta is currently in litigation. The Steam Deck, notably, doesn't use the same rumble technology that Sony lost over, ERM actuators. One of the few major gaming companies that hasn't been sued by Immersion is Nintendo, whose rumble pack technology predates Immersion's patent, which raises questions like, how did Immersion get a patent on it? But anyway, Immersion did not sue Valve over the Steam controller, though this is most likely a reflection of Valve's growing popularity and success. Discussion question. Should Valve take this as a compliment? I mean, I guess that's one way of looking at it. I'm sure they would rather just not have to deal with this lawsuit from a patent troll. It's so frustrating. How much innovation gets squashed by this crap? Hate it. What I don't hate is announcing the OC-Base/OCCT 20th Stableversary. Hey! It's a stability testing software that's been around for a while. They're celebrating their 20th anniversary, dubbed a Stableversary. They've revamped their site and software, and to celebrate, they're hosting a giveaway with total prizing valued at $10,000. You can win all-in-one coolers, cases, motherboards, fans, racing sim equipment, OCCT licenses, and a GPU. And LTTStore is sponsoring some of the prizes for the giveaway with screwdrivers, tech sacks, and backpacks. Go to ocbase.com/stableversary to enter the giveaway. And I think that's pretty much it for the topics this week. We had a couple other things we were kind of thinking of talking about. Oh, the Asus router issue. So that was bad. Asus, pushed like a firmware update or something like that basically knocked every Asus router offline?
Yeah, a security update as far as I know. I didn't dive super deeply into it, but yeah.
Sick.
Yep.
There's some like nerd drama between nerds.
Yep.
You know what?
I don't know a lot about this.
I don't feel like talking about that.
I'll talk very shortly about the Overwatch 2 thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
what's up with that? You just promise a campaign and then just never deliver it? What, you just, promise Halo co-op and then just don't ship it, or what? Like, who do they think they are?
Yeah.
Sorry, what were we
It
talking
is
about?
annoyingly common. Jeff Kaplan, the pretty fantastic video game designer, hopefully hasn't done terrible things, I don't know, whatever. Jeff Kaplan announced the single player. Basically everything Jeff Kaplan worked on was like awesome. So people were really excited.
Oh, have you clarified that this is for Overwatch 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. He announced single player stuff and like hero mode and all this other type of stuff going on with Overwatch 2. And they have effectively announced recently that it's a lot of work working on single player and multiplayer, and they're just going to keep working on multiplayer. Sorry.
Yep.
Hero mode's not coming, etc., etc. I don't play Overwatch, so there might be some elements of it that got partially there. I don't know. I haven't dove far enough into this story, but I know a lot of the things that people were excited about are not coming, and Jeff isn't there anymore, so he can't make it happen. And that was one of the reasons why it was nice when he was around, was because he would kind of make those types of things happen. So I had a bunch of interest in Overwatch 2 because it was supposed to have co-op. And this is something that Linus and I have talked a decent amount recently, where it's like, you look at the games that are killing it recently, they're all single-player games. Basically, the ones that I can think of.
And yet the games industry doesn't want to build single-player experiences.
No, they're we're going to make a bunch of games as a service. We're going to make all these other things. We want to make a game that you literally play with 100% of your time for the rest of your life. One game.
I don't want that.
No.
I want to play Tears of the Kingdom and then have Tears of the Kingdom be over, and I want to play something else. I don't want Tears of the Kingdom to be slightly different if I log out for 6 months and log back in.
And it's like exciting when you do that, because then when the next one comes out, you're like, oh, cool, I get to go through a similar experience again. This is one of the reasons why I like getting people to play the Titanfall 2 campaign, because it's like 6 to 8 hours.
Okay, I really do still need to do that.
But like, I wasn't even trying to rag on you for that, but it's just like, it's a good... Like, I beat it, and then the next night, I beat it again. Because I played it on the hardest difficulty.
What a Chad.
Because I was like, this game is worth going through again, right? And it was kind of too easy on the lower one, so I wanted to amp it up. But
humble brag.
it's actually, like, the other people have commented as well. They're like, regular difficulty is kind of too easy.
Got it.
But it's a fantastic game, and one of the reasons why it's so good is because they'll introduce a new fun idea, and then before you're tired of it, they take it away and they give you a new one. They're like, oh, you're not quite done with this? Okay, well, doesn't matter. This is mine now. You get this other thing. And it's fun, and you get to the end of the game, you're like, wow, that was cool.
For all its faults, It Takes Two did a pretty good job of mixing up the gameplay mechanics. It was really simplistic because it was kind of designed for relatively casual players, so I didn't really have a ton of fun with it. But I played through it, and it's one of probably only half a dozen games that I've actually played through start to finish over the last few years just because life is busy. And that really is reflective of how few of these types of experiences are out there. And so I can see why people were so hungry for Overwatch 2. I mean, part of it too is, to Blizzard's credit, they've done a pretty good job of creating characters out of these classes.
So it makes sense to have a single player for it.
Yeah, it kind of does. But I mean, I don't know. Should we criticize Valve for never doing a campaign with the Team Fortress 2 universe? Like, I don't know.
Probably. It would have been sick.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
right.
It's,
I mean, where's an RTS?
yeah.
Where's a Team
Where's
Fortress?
like anything? I talk to people about this
Where's a Team Fortress 2 RTS?
all the time.
That would be awesome.
If you make a game that isn't trash and it has co-op, I will buy it. Like, there's like no options. There's practically nothing that comes out. And this is not just true for me. I will sometimes see when we're talking about something and we're like, we're not going to do that. It's not a very good idea. And you'll see some people in floatplane chat be like, I'll buy it. And it's like, yeah. Or I'll watch that thing or whatever, right? Like I'll watch that video and it's like, yeah, but we're competing against the algorithm. We have to find something that like a huge percentage of people are going to watch, not a hardcore niche. Co-op is not a hardcore niche. Everyone I know that plays games, literally everyone, wants co-op experiences. Maybe not to play with me, but to play with somebody, whether it's their partner or just another friend that they like playing games with or whatever. And there's like so few of them.
Yeah, someone in floatplane chat, Michael, is like, Portal 2 is another good single-player game. It's like, yeah, but how long ago was Portal 2?
Old!
Yeah.
It's
You're not wrong.
Old.
Like
Great
we're not
game.
we're not angry with you.
Yeah.
We're angry with the situation.
The fact that I still recommend people go back and play Portal 2 as a co-op game is crazy because there aren't a ton of like better, newer alternatives. Like what the heck? And people will look at games like, you know, old Assassin's Creed games used to have like competitive multiplayer.
Yeah.
Why? And like no one ever cared because why would you?
Far Cry had competitive multiplayer or something like that. I
why?
think.
And then modern Far Cry has co-op, but just like a bunch of other co-op games, the co-op implementation is like so whack. Why can't you just start a new game together? Like Joe and I were playing a game called Returnal, but you have to like join the other person's thing, so the person that joins in doesn't get the progress. It's only the server host. It's like, why are you punishing people for wanting to play games together? Stop having weird limitations of when you can play or not. Because there's like, oh, you can play Far Cry, but you can only join for one mission. It's like, what? So my friend happens to be playing a game, and I'm going to be like, hey, you want to stop what you're doing and come play with me in Far Cry for one mission and then screw off because you can't keep playing? I think that was one version of Far Cry. I think in Far Cry later you can keep playing the whole time. But it's just like, why are there these weird, like just...
It's just like trendiness, right? Like you brought up games that unnecessarily had multiplayer. One that blew me away was First Encounter Assault Recon. Do you remember that game?
No.
Fear?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, so it had multiplayer.
I had no idea.
That game's whole shtick was the bullet time thing, which obviously isn't going to work in multiplayer. So it was just a super generic shooter, and the atmosphere, like it's got it. Okay, that's one that I would strongly recommend. If you haven't played Fear, go play it. I don't know if any of the other ones were good. I think I might have played Fear 2. I didn't play Fear 3, although I heard that one was good, and I have no idea about Fear 4. If there is a Fear 4 even. Is there a Fear 4, Fear 3? No, it doesn't matter. The point is I played the first one. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it didn't need multiplayer. Why can't you just make one good thing?
And someone in the chat tagged me and said Call of Duty Zombies. I know a lot of people play zombies. I find it very repetitive and boring. It's a preference thing, whatever. What I don't understand is why can't you play the campaign together? There's other soldiers with you pretty much the whole time. Like, what do you mean? There's no... man. And, like, it's so difficult to make good multiplayer games, and especially when you make them competitive, there's all this, like, hit registration issues and netcode problems and all this, like, crazy...
If you're not supposed to hit each other, then whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah.
The level of, like, what you have to get to is so much lower for a co-op experience. It should be so much easier. It feels like people are like, no, this is a single-player game. You don't get to have my single-player game. It's like, what do you do? Why? Like, come on. I don't know. Destiny 2 is a good co-op game. Destiny 2 is an MMO.
And on that note,
NUKE has co-op missions, but it's not the whole game. It's not the whole game. No, that's not okay. No, we can't do that. The NUKE has co-op missions, sure, but it's not the storyline game. They're canned experiences, and they're like weird, like speedrun things.
Borderlands is so boring. It's just it's Diablo. It's just Diablo. It's first-person Diablo.
With guns.
The amount of just like looting garbage just dragged.
I liked the first one, and then they kept releasing it, and I was like, this is the same game with a new map, which is okay sometimes. But
yeah, but it's people are talking Deep Rock Galactic. We tried to play Deep Rock Galactic. I think we just weren't like into it enough. It was pretty deep.
What about Portal 2 then? Okay, good counter argument, except Portal 2 is a new whole campaign, basically. The co-op is a new whole campaign, which is great, because if you played the single player by yourself and then wanted to play co-op with a friend, now it's new puzzles.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. The COD, if you haven't done it, the COD co-op missions is not a campaign. It's like playing, if you are an older gamer, it's like playing Red Alert or StarCraft on like scenario mode. You just like load into a map and you go, bleh. And it's like, it's better than literally nothing, but it's still bad. It's still really bad. And I was honestly very frustrated because I heard that it had co-op, and I was really excited about it. And then I was so deeply disappointed with what the co-op was, because as hyper generic as COD campaigns are, my like gushy goblin meat brain still enjoys them, so being able to play them in co-op would be fun, but they're just like, no, you can't do that. Anyways, sorry, I'll stop ranting.
Time for WAN Show After Dark. Shall we do some merch messages?
Yeah.
We are seriously not going to be able to get to all of them this week. I'm sorry, guys. There's really a lot, and thank you for that. That's awesome. Maybe we could go a little less dark than we have been. People are complaining on LMG clips.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
10%?
Yeah. WAN Show After Dark. Well, it's a little dark. WAN Show After Twilight. Still a better show than Twilight.
I gotta swap over the banner. There we go. WAN After Dark.
Nice. Gotta love those nice little touches. Good touch.
Another thing too is like, not only are we probably not going to be able to get to all of these, but a huge percentage of these are just going to be questions about like the new leadership.
Oh yeah, which I'll do a little bit, but probably not everything.
We don't necessarily want to grind on that the whole night.
Yeah, we have other things to grind on the whole night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Hit us, Dan.
Okay. Sure. If you're not handing over any equity, how do you get Terren to leave Intel, who I'm guessing offered large stock options?
Well, Terren wasn't at Intel.
Yep.
He was at Dell. Mm-hmm. As for the compensation of any Linus Media Group employee, I don't think that's something that I'm going to be discussing. Obviously we had to come up with a total compensation package of some sort that made sense for him, and he's happy with it, and we're happy with it, and that's how we're moving forward. I mean, there's so many different ways to skin the cat when it comes to compensation. When it comes to, I shouldn't say compensation, when it comes to total job satisfaction, right? Like, I don't know. It's really funny. I saw a post just a while back somewhere, something like the way Linus talks about hiring passionate people sounds like those toxic employers that think that offering a better work environment is a good substitute for more pay. And I was like, yeah, I guess I am that kind of toxic person, because believe it or not, offering a better work environment actually does cost money. And actually does result in better happiness than necessarily just throwing money onto a paycheck. especially past a certain point. Like I would say if you're at, barely above poverty level, like if you're not making enough, then yeah, you'd probably rather just have the money. But
I think this is going to get misquoted.
I mean, probably.
Just yeah.
But yes, I do think there is a value to having a positive.
What he's saying is there's a value to it, not that he like pays people less actively because of it.
Well,
he doesn't go like, oh, you guys have snacks, therefore I'm paying you $5 less.
Oh,
like,
no, that's not how that works.
I know.
Oh, okay. But my point is, yes, I do think there's a value in, it's literally half of your waking hours, 5 days a week, right? Like there's value in, creating a positive culture where people actually don't mind being there. And if you are the type of person who looks at that and goes, no, I'd rather have my extra 83 cents an hour and be miserable all day, then I'm so glad you're not here. Thank God you're not here. Because you sound awful. Anyway,
this is so going to be misquoted, but I don't disagree with what is the baseline of what is being said. So
Reddit can be mad about it. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Go there, please.
There's so many things that it's going to be so interesting to just even just mentally ask myself, like, what will Terren think about
Top
this?
Gear 1224 says it's not 83 cents. It's like $10 to $12 an hour. That is a number you completely pulled out of your ass.
Wait, what is it? What?
I said the difference. It would be like however much. I pulled an arbitrary.
For snacks?
No, not for snacks. Just the difference between working in a toxic workplace and working in one that is like good to work at.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
I'm going to need training from the CEO on like when to stop Linus.
This is just not going to go well.
Okay, cool. Next up. Linus, is there any project that you're especially excited to be able to focus on now that you will have more time loving the content?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to focus on how we can, really find the right balance between making this a good place to work and compensating people fairly.
This man's an expert. I knew that would happen. Now mention the nukes. Come on. We have a
Nuke the show now.
Nuke the compensation package.
One benefit of working here is if you're not an on-camera employee, you get to spend a significant portion of your time working in the nuke manufacturing plant. It's under the lab. It's physically under the lab. We build it under the ground. The lab opens like this, and then it can poop, and then it's great. Yeah.
Now who's leaking stuff? Like all the nuclear waste.
Oh man. Wow. People really don't understand this. This is wild.
Yeah, I
know I'm feeling the same, Luke.
Huh. Okay.
I knew this was going to happen because the way there's every once in a while you'll word something in a way that is like not wrong, but very easily misinterpreted if they don't have the context for it, which is everyone's going to do that. I'm not singling you out. I'm sure I do it too, but
I just don't get it. Like, do they actually, in their heart of hearts, believe that when we added snacks, we subtracted that from our payroll budget? Do you actually think that?
I am certain some companies effectively do.
Well, yeah, sure, but f those guys.
Yeah, but that I think that might be the component that's missing.
But that's not my problem.
No, I understand. I'm just saying. When it was happening, I was like, this is going to be bad. I wasn't saying you were saying anything wrong. I just knew it was going to be bad.
By the way, you have a new official nickname, Luke Nukem.
Luke Nuke, nice.
Courtesy of Floatplane Chat.
I love it.
Oh man. All right.
Next up.
Yeah. Oh wait, no.
It's the
same one.
Yeah. What do I want to? What do I want to focus on?
Oh boy.
By the way, your girlfriend sounds very savvy, Jacob W. What is this show?
Let him wear the clothes. Spend as much money as you want on LTTStore.com.
Oh, man.
More labs and writing team integration. That's what I want to see more of. I think I kind of talked about that earlier on the show. Okay, we can do another one.
Okay. Hey, DLL, a few weeks ago, I lost my lanyard and YubiKey somewhere and was not able to find it. Luckily, I have a backup. What was the most costly thing you have misplaced or lost?
Oh, I lost like a $400 pocket PC back when I was running my painting company. I went to an ice rink to watch something. I don't know. I was with Yvonne. This is like very early in our relationship. And I realized after I left that it had fallen out of my pocket in the bleachers, which is one of the reasons that so many of the pants on LTT Store have zipper pockets, because that's personally burned me multiple times in the past.
Yep.
And did I tell you that the ice rink was in Surrey?
I don't think so.
So what are the odds I got it back?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
So yeah, I went back very quickly afterward. No, it's gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was, and part of it is that, I don't know, maybe I've lost something more dollars since then, but that was back in like 2005.
Big impact.
And I did not have money. I was a student, right? So like if I lost $500 today, A, that's a lot less money than it used to be. And B, I could absorb that very easily compared to when I was a student. Yeah, it was pretty rough. I was not happy.
Mine, you know how much money I spend on clothes or how often I go shopping. Back in my dating era, I purchased a jacket. It was a denier leather jacket. It was actually quite nice. It was my favorite model that they had. And then when I went and pulled it off the rack, I saw the model name was Luke, which was kind of cool. And it like fit perfectly.
It wasn't Chad?
It
Sounds
fit
like
perfectly.
a pretty Chad moment.
It had one of those, the like sweater hoods.
Cool. Okay.
And like the style just really suited me really well and stuff. And then I guess one day, back when I used to live in the basement suite of the house office, I must have left my car unlocked and it got jacked. And I was like actually really sad because there's very few clothing items that I like. Yeah, people like Luke spent money. Yeah. There's very few clothing items that I've actually like spent money on and were like really good.
How are we this similar in like weird ways? The story I didn't tell is my second year at CES. To look somewhat presentable, I treated myself to it was probably about $400 to $450. Have I told you this story?
No, I just know I know it.
Yeah, so
maybe
an expensive like wool jacket.
Yeah.
It was super nice. And I left it in a cab with my leather gloves also in the pocket of my jacket. And oh yeah, cabbie definitely never saw that for sure.
Yeah, gone.
Yeah, that's the most expensive garment I think I've ever bought for myself. And I lost it like immediately. Yeah, I was really not impressed. Uber's not perfect, but shout out being able to get in touch with the person who was driving the vehicle right away.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it took because I realized right away, obviously, but conveniently, well, I don't know, the dispatch takes time I'm sorry, they must have taken another fare. No, he didn't find anything, but no way to talk to that person. So they could just be like, yeah, no, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, let's throw another one in here. Hey, DLL, a few weeks ago, I'm reading the same question. What will Terren Tong's role be with video roles? Will he be occasional host or appearance, or will he be primarily behind the camera, honed in on CEO duties with the occasional cameo?
If he's behind the camera, then he's definitely doing the wrong thing. I'm kidding. That's just like... that generally means operating it. But he will be behind the scenes. Yeah. I don't think he's particularly comfortable on camera. He graciously agreed to come to the roast, which I just thought was pretty cool, having like people who knew me both personally and professionally and as a collaborator, you know, like it was nice to have that variety, but it was not something that I think was like his comfort zone necessarily. So super cool that he did that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up once in a while. But for the most part, his job is going to be making sure that this machine runs smoothly.
been a fan since you were reviewing netbooks at NCIX. What do you think worried you the most during this transition, stepping down as CEO?
Worries me most? I don't know. I'm mostly worried that I'll just have a hard time actually stepping back and like actually just letting go of the reins. It's a real challenge for me, but I'm going to do my best with it. Okay, we might have to limit the number of new CEO questions.
Sorry, yeah, I mean, these are done throughout the show. Let's see. Oh boy, what have I done to myself?
I'll pick one. I just don't know. Do the stick locks fit on the RG Ally?
I believe so.
I
haven't tried.
Okay, here's a
but
different one.
I'm like 98% sure. Tell you what, if it doesn't fit, just contact support. We'll get you sorted out.
Hey, DLL from the future. Any thoughts on Kyle ending Bitwit? It's a big loss on the industry. Any plans for short colors?
Shorts are not moving particularly well, so probably not anytime soon, but, you know, we'll see. Good reviews, but we're not selling a ton of them. I guess people just like buying tops online more than pants. I can kind of see that, actually, because it's easier to, especially for guys, like tops are just, yeah, whatever.
I am
I'll
this
buy my
size. It'll probably work.
Yeah, whereas shorts and pants can be very, very challenging.
Yeah.
You got to contain all of this energy, you know?
Raw power.
Yeah. Anywho, yeah, thoughts on losing Bitwit's content. I mean, oh boy, do I talk about that? Sure, screw it, I'll talk about this. So back when Paul and Kyle left Newegg, Kyle was the one of them, because people had suggested, oh, we should hire them. Kyle was the one of them that I had actually wanted to hire more. I think both of them have done an excellent job over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them have just, I mean, survived as independent content creators is all you really have to say.
That's very tough over an extended period of time.
And it almost everyone fails. But I always, what I liked about Kyle was that I didn't necessarily need, you know, Paul's deeper hardware knowledge from my outside observations. But what I really liked about Kyle was just his raw, chaotic energy. Just the way that he managed to inject humor and fun into tech in a way that's pretty unique.
Like host first, tech second.
Yeah. And whereas Paul has always been tech first, host second, which isn't to say he's a bad host. No. Not at all. And he's hilarious. But it's just a really, really different style. And so, yeah, I would have loved to, you know, hire Kyle or whatever at that time, because I did feel like the tech industry, you know, would love him and needed him. He's got a really unique voice, and yeah, it saddens me, but also as someone who's going through my own sort of transition right now, I get it. Right? If it's not what your passion is, then you have to do something else. I just don't think there's another way around it.
Yeah, it feels like the end of an era in a weird way, but at the same time, he's been through a bunch of stuff recently, and I'm happy that he's taking steps in a direction that he feels good about, if that makes sense. And it's not like Kyle's gone. We just have different Kyle.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Is someone asking, did I pull sponsorship on Austin Evans's last video?
What?
I actually am not sure what you're talking about. Oh. Well, I mean, he has a pink car, so maybe the assumption is that I had something to do with it. But no. All right. Hit me, Dan.
Sure thing. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I should be finding ones that aren't about the CEO. Yeah, okay, this one's fine. Linus, hope the new job makes you happy. What do you think the most challenging part of your new role will be?
Finding time.
Relinquishing the old role.
Yeah. Yeah, same answer.
I think there will also be in a similar way to, I think I've mentioned on the show a few times, but I mentioned a lot off the show, how there's a lot of struggles going from small company to medium company. I think the process changes of everyone working here, not dealing with you in the same way, is going to be difficult.
Yeah, people are going to have to break a lot of habits.
Yes.
I have a pretty open door policy to the extent that I can with my limited time. So people from every level of the organization will come to me and say, hey, look, I think this is a really, really awful decision that's being made. Do you agree? Can you do something? And we're just going to have to break that habit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have to no, I actually will not talk to you about this. You need to take this to
someone else's job.
To someone else. Yeah. And we have to trust those people. And if we can't trust them, then we have to train them or whatever, right?
Okay, this one here is about LTX, which is exciting. Going to be at LTX this year, flying from Alabama.
Heck yeah.
Wanted to see if cosplay is allowed during the show. I'm pretty avid Comic-Con goer.
That's a good question. I think as long as it doesn't violate our security policies, I think we don't allow covered faces or replica weapons.
Weapons is an issue, but
yeah, you'd have to check. The best thing to do would be to contact support on ltxexpo.com. I believe there's also a subforum on the linustechtips.com forum that's being monitored for any questions to do with LTX.
I'm sure if you were able to send them a picture of it or send them a picture of the concept at the very least, they could give you a pretty good answer.
But yeah, totally. People have absolutely come in costume before, and it's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I'm doing too many things at once, and it won't leave. You
got this, Dan.
Hey guys, what is the number one thing, floatplane feature, video, or product you wish Linus had not leaked? And what were the repercussions?
I don't usually mind it that much. There's stuff that's kind of annoying. Like you mentioned the subscription upgrade before we were ready, and that created more work. But it wasn't it's not like the sky was falling. It just created more work.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't know.
But it wasn't. Water under the bridge.
Well, that's something.
I don't know. I can't really think of much else though. I think this would be more of an LTTStore thing than a floatplane thing.
I definitely caused some problems when I wanted to wear the color block hoodie really early.
So that's what I'm talking about. Because I feel like it's more a creative warehouse thing.
Yeah, because we had a really hard time getting the dark dyes right up against the light dyes to not run into the light dyes. And so that product took another year or something to come out after I had leaked it. So support kept getting messages from people asking when is this hoodie coming? I'd say that's probably the biggest problem though, is people just wanting the product more badly. And I'm kind of sitting here going, that's marketing, baby. So I don't know.
But you can also exhaust people by announcing something too far ahead of time.
Yes.
Like Skull and Bones.
The Coal Bar.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. That's in general, the floatplane stuff, it's been fine.
What defunct company would you revive, assuming they would stay afloat once brought back?
Ooh. Defunct. I assume you mean a tech company of some sort.
This is kind of a weird one too, because there have been companies that I would honestly name, but they have been brought back, but not really with the same
Commodore
spirit.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, and Rare.
Sure. Yeah, okay.
Oh, you just made everybody sad.
It's not, but it's not the same anymore though, right? This one,
Zombie Rare.
So
you know what? I say Blizzard.
Oof. I like that. I like that a lot.
That's real good.
Because they're not the. I like that because
they are not Blizzard.
Yeah,
they are
Activision Blizzard
gross.
King or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is.
ABK.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. I agree.
NCIX. Some good suggestions there.
Someone was mentioning you should rename the company now that Terren's here. You should rename the company NCX2.
NCX2. LCIX. Yeah, there's some good suggestions.
Old school Sierra, Micropros. Yeah.
Pebble.
Westwood.
Pebble.
Westwood.
I want Pebble back.
Westwood would be sick.
Voodoo 3D.
Blizzard North.
Oh, I like that.
There's a lot of but a lot of these, the problem is that they were either purchased or they were brought back, but it wasn't the original team. It wasn't the original spirit. It's just the name. So it just didn't matter. It's irrelevant. The company name is unimportant. So,
Man, speaking of things being brought back without the original spirit, I didn't get a chance to watch the Willow TV reboot because, well, I heard it was awful, and so I didn't bother. I just watched the movie.
Yeah.
But apparently, it's already being pulled off of Disney Plus, and this is to do with apparently avoiding paying residuals and also using the fact that they are no longer making money off of it as a way to optimize their taxes.
Yeah.
Gross.
Oh yeah.
Like the fact that your creative work, however much, certain people might like it or not like it, that's sort of a completely separate conversation. How whatever your creative work is, the fact that for tax optimization purposes, it can just be mothballed forever is so gross.
Yep. There's shows or movies or something, I don't know which one, or maybe both, that have been produced, and then upon seeing the finished product, they didn't think it was not going to make any money, but they didn't think it was going to make enough money.
And it was better to write it off. Yeah, I think it was like Batgirl or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, there were two.
Like, man.
Oh, no, there was an even worse one. So that one was finished shooting, but not produced. But there was an animated film that actually got completely finished, like actually completely finished, and then will never be released. I want to say Scooby-Doo. It was a Scooby-Doo sequel. That movie is done and will never see the light of day, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. Yep, that's really rough.
Oh, did I say Batgirl? Is it Batwoman? I don't know, Bat something.
Whatever, it's something.
Yeah, that one finished.
This isn't a topic we prepared.
That one finished shooting, and then the Scooby-Doo one actually finished post-production because the contract had to be completed. So people knew, they actually knew that they were working on a movie that would never be released.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? Okay, hit me.
Can do. Congratulations, Linus. Now that you're stepping down from CEO, do you plan to have more time for non-LMG stuff? Any big personal projects in mind?
Badminton Center.
Badminton Center. Badminton Center. Badminton Center.
Did I confirm on WAN Show already that it's 14 courts?
I thought it was 16.
14.
14.
It was never going to be 16. It was going to be
16,
it was going to be 7 or 14.
Yeah.
14 courts is confirmed. Super excited. However, that did put me under a bit more financial strain, and the machine vision scoring system is on pause for now. We definitely still want to do some development, and in the long term, I want it to be just like the techiest, wildest, freaking cool like badminton gym ever.
Sometimes things have to.
But it's going to take some time.
Yeah, it's okay. And honestly, the more time it takes, theoretically, the easier it'll get anyways.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Okay, I'll just pick one at random here. Already did that one. Are there any vision initiatives or projects that you are looking forward to getting to spend more time on when you release your CEO duties? So I guess this is more company related.
Wait, isn't this basically the same question?
Yeah, no, this one was more work. The other one was personal.
Oh.
You already said labs integration. Hey, Linus, are there any skill sets you are looking to learn or improve in your new position?
I mean,
we talked about knowledge sharing.
Yeah. I think I could do a way better job of just helping to make our creative processes more, a little more like dynamic. I think that as we've grown and as I've been lighter touch on the individuals in the creative chain, I've rubbed off on them less. And I think that there's sometimes an unwillingness to just do things differently. Like it used to be. I remember when we hired Max, she was very timid. And so I kind of had to hammer into her during her early days, like, hey, if something sucks, you have to tell me. And I would even do things like intentionally do a bad take and ask her if it was okay. And when she'd be like, yes, I'm like, no, it wasn't. And she's like, I know. And I'm like, okay, then why'd you tell me it was good? She's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, well, look, that's not the point. The point is you've got to be able to tell me, because if you can't tell me, then how are we going to make a better product together? We've got to be able to work together, and that means we need communication. I don't do that stuff as much anymore, and so I want to spend more time on that.
Okay, now we can get in some of the really interesting ones. Well, let's see what else we've got here. Come on, where'd it go?
Hi, Dan.
Yeah, Dan Xe has stopped working. Maybe it got removed. Can you give an example of a decision that you made in the past couple of years that TT would have disagreed with? How do you resolve that conflict in future corp structure?
Oh, I think a lot of our product development direction has been kind of
erratic.
Thank you for that. I don't think, okay, here's an example. I don't think Terren would have disagreed with the lab. I think that we're very aligned on that vision, but he probably would have, I don't know, set out a budget for it. Just a thing that Terren might do.
Not like completely changed even the not set but kind of expected budget within like a 3-month period.
Yeah.
One building, some people? No, bigger building, more people.
Yeah. That's how I roll, baby.
Yeah.
But
he also might though.
Well, that's the thing is the money is still coming from the organization here. So in theory, if he does a good job, the organization will make even more money, which means even more irresponsible spending. We're just going to write down how much money we're going to irresponsibly spend before we spend it.
Yeah.
Instead of just finding out after we've spent it.
And that doesn't mean that it couldn't change based on learning new things or whatever else.
Yeah.
But it will still be written down first.
And to be clear,
step.
like Yvonne always made sure I never actually did anything that we couldn't afford to do. It's just that Yvonne's a lot more malleable for me. She'll be like, yeah, I really don't know if this makes sense. And I'll be like, please, I'll just make more money. It's okay. We'll just spend it. This is a really good idea. I'm pretty sure. She'll be like, okay, let me see what I can do. And that's pretty much the dynamic. She's great.
Okay, next up. Linus, with how much you include family on the show, hosting a podcast with your wife and building servers with your son, have you ever had to debate how much of your personal life should be on the show?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Oops.
What'd you do?
I meant to go new line and I sent a reply. So sorry, I'm going to interject for a second. Somebody was like, what software that you use on a daily basis that you hate and what changes would you make?
Teams.
And I was new lining to type Teams. I had typed Slack and I was trying to get a new line. Corporate communication software, in my opinion, is in an absolute trash state. It's ridiculous that I would honestly rather use Discord if it didn't have some like weird limitations on it. If there was like Discord for business, I'd probably just move everybody to that. Because like Teams and Slack are both just so bad at like really weird basic things. And like there's some things about Teams that I like more about Slack, and there's some things about Slack that I like more than Teams. I'm not saying either of them is necessarily better than the other. It kind of depends on what style of team you have, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But they're just both like...
I just want MSN Messenger back.
Yeah.
Anyway, in response to your question, yeah, it's something that Yvonne and I talk about a lot. It's something that I feel like I kind of intuitively try to silo. I think for a long time I was probably just posting too much on Twitter, because a lot of the time it's not even really like, it's not well articulated, which doesn't help. And a lot of the time, it's just like how I'm feeling in the moment. I think that platform really is designed for people to be their worst, most impulsive selves. So now that I almost never post on Twitter, I'm definitely doing a better job of keeping my personal feelings and my personal life offline while still managing to be a prolific online personality.
Yeah.
For Luke, how much emphasis is put on tests and feature flags when rolling out features? I've noticed that as companies get bigger, features take longer to develop as testing becomes a requirement.
Yeah, we do that stuff. Are we the best at it? No. We've had like pushes in our history to be like, oh, we need to add tests for like all the things, and then it like often doesn't really help. I don't know. There's a lot of people that will fight very viciously on both sides. People that say tests are a hard requirement. Other people that say tests are a waste of time. I think if you're not doing it properly, it's just a waste of time. We have often not necessarily done it properly. There is a time in our history where I think we did a really good job. I don't necessarily think we're doing that now, but what we are doing now is better like QA of the stuff that we're doing. So we have an internal platform that developers can use for testing, and sometimes we'll like it's been pretty cool having other teams in our Slack. So like the Labs web dev team and even some of the Labs local developers are in Slack with us. So the Labs team or the Floatplane team, vice versa, will be like, hey, other people that don't work on this but are also developers, try to pick this apart, see what happens. And it's useful. And then sometimes we'll scale beyond that, and we'll throw it at another team in the company that is not necessarily technical, but it's useful to have them try to pick it apart. And then we have another layer, which is the beta site, which you don't have to use anymore, by the way, users, because the main site has been updated with all of the beta site features. So you can just use the main site now. And I would actually recommend doing that. But we're going to very likely continue to use the beta site to test stuff. So we have a bunch of layers of increasing the amount of users and the type of users that try stuff firsthand. And that's kind of our preferred route at this point. Yeah. I think there are other, honestly, significantly bigger reasons why large companies move slower with product releases than writing tests, I would personally say. But I could be wrong there because I don't have experience at those companies.
Hello, guys. I'm in high school, and my best friend's parents have video cameras to monitor what he does on his computer. Do you think that this is too far? Hope you guys have a nice show.
Okay, sorry. Did you say high school?
High school.
Oh, that's getting pretty old for net nanny. I monitor my kids. My eldest is not in high school, though. I think that at a certain point, kids start to need their privacy, and that sort of supervision becomes oppressive. However, just because you're in high school, or even just because you're legally an adult, doesn't necessarily mean that your parents don't still know what's better for you sometimes. And I don't know everything about their unique situation. I mean, maybe this individual is, seriously at risk of some kind of self-harm, for example. Without getting into too much detail, I knew someone when I was in high school who spent time on pro anorexia forums and stuff like that. And, I think that it would have been in their parents' and this person's best interest, even though they were well advanced into their high school years, to monitor that and prevent that if they in any way could do that. That's a community that someone with body image issues doesn't need to be participating in. That is objectively true. And
I wasn't listening to most of this. You just said it's objectively true, and you're talking about body image issues, so I'm hoping this is going okay.
Luke,
I am braced for impact.
Luke, in your experience, has it ever gone okay?
Yeah, no,
okay, good.
It definitely has. It goes okay the vast majority of the time. But yeah, I don't know. There's one thing that I would consider is your kids are probably not stupid. So if they really want to get around it, you're telling them that you're watching them with a camera. So they'll find another way.
The makeout corner in the basement specifically doesn't have a camera pointed at it. We just assume it's going to be a makeout corner at some point. You know that spot under the stairs? That will almost certainly be a makeout corner because you'll be able to hear anyone coming down the stairs and quickly, assemble yourselves.
Yeah.
Kids will be kids.
Yeah. So you have to understand that to a certain degree. it's tough because I've thought about the situation of like growing up in my house was harder for that type of stuff than most of my friends because my dad was always been technical.
Yeah.
And that's got to be rough for your kids as well. Like, good luck. So, like, I don't know. But
what I really want is to not have to supervise them. So that's the foundation we're trying to build now is like, hey, if you do something you shouldn't, the best course of action, the best time to tell me about it was then. The second best time is now. The worst time is not yet. All of my kids know that if you do something wrong, you're in a bit of trouble. But we love you and we'll figure it out. If you lie about it, you're in a lot of trouble, and trust is hard to rebuild.
yeah,
And so that's really the way that we try to message everything. And the hope is that we can build a strong enough foundation where they just kind of go, okay, yeah, it's actually a much better path to just talk about these things rather than waiting to be found out. And we've found out enough things through just being watchful that hopefully we've created enough of a pattern for them to recognize that it's not actually worth it. And it's better to just talk about it. Hopefully. I mean, who knows, right? Like, people are imperfect. People are messy. Life is messy, right? I don't know where my kids are going to end up. I obviously hope for the best.
and sometimes you have to figure out things on your own. So like, but this comes into the, like you're talking about, like, okay, we monitor now, but he's not in high school yet, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain things about yourself, about how you are positioned in life, about the world that you're going to want to dive into, discover, do research on, whatever, on your own, so that it feels more organic. And so you can come to answers on your own. So that'll happen eventually. But like, there's also people that go down terrible paths, like you were mentioning. So like, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, and you can't prevent it these days.
Nope.
Like, I mean, we've got people in the chat and
The internet is a
talking
hell of a
about
beast.
like porn blocking. It's like, good luck.
Oh yeah, that like doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's-
Utterly irrelevant. You're far better off just meeting that head on.
you'd have to block the internet. Like, it's literally everywhere.
Yeah. Man, I think I'd mentioned this on WAN Show a little while ago, but I was on Twitter looking at just like some utterly unrelated hashtag, and it's like, whoa, that was hardcore pornography.
Yeah.
Like, just like that. And you can kind of go, okay, well, don't have the Twitter app. Yeah, but it's like, it's on the web. You can just access it through a browser. And that's just like mainstream. I couldn't possibly hope to block every site that just has pornography on it. Like you said, I would just have to block the internet.
Yeah. YouTube.
I'll just be Iran. I'll just make my own internet.
You can't. You wouldn't be able to have any of the platforms that you do business on accessible from your house.
Yeah, there's some pretty wild,
Literally
like,
any of them.
music videos on YouTube and stuff. I was like, is this for real right now?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're actually licking alcohol off breasts. Like,
I believe that's been a trope in music for a while, but I think it's getting like more less covered up recently. It feels, yeah. That was such a parent way of saying that.
The girls should need music videos, sir.
put some clothes on, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Hi, DLL. Hypothetically, if the new CEO wants to stop the WAN show for whatever reason, how would you resolve that conflict?
Stop the WAN show. Well, I think we would sit down and look at the numbers, and here's that dashboard I'm not supposed to leak, and there's a number for you. I think if the new CEO wants to take down the WAN show, he's got another thing coming.
Also, yes, I've done 630 merch messages today.
Nice.
He just doesn't care. He doesn't care. We can
I'm not moving over
we
there.
can set up these like certain like, oh, don't reference this thing, don't talk about this thing, don't show this thing. It doesn't matter. At a certain point, I almost wonder, like, would we be better off just like not even telling him not to do certain things? Because like I feel like it's almost like, oh, that's a fun button to press, and it's like, darn it.
Well, no, because he knows it upsets you.
That's what I'm saying. That's my whole point.
So stop getting upset. You're just giving a positive reinforcement.
No.
He's like a cat. You
I
know?
want to be upset.
No, it's not time to play right now. Oh, you're going to scratch up the curtains? Is that going to get you to play with me? It's your fault, Luke. You're the bad parent.
Yep. 100%.
I mean, yeah, probably. I don't have a kid. Come on, leave me alone. Okay, next one.
Next one. All right, same sort of vein. You've been doing the WAN Show for quite a while. Do you see the WAN Show outliving you two as hosts?
You know, for a long time, we tried to have other people host the WAN Show, and it's okay. But I think the WAN Show has changed from then and has become less of what it used to be. Like, it used to be called Weekly Analysis and News. That was the joke. It was the WAN Show because it was Weekly Analysis and News.
Now it's Weekly Analysis and Nukes.
On a wide...
Got him!
Yeah! Hell yeah!
Sorry.
That's what you get for showing the dashboard.
And I thought it was really funny because the name of our show was essentially just Internet Show because it's a wide area network show.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's become less of Weekly Analysis and News. We've actually formally gotten rid of that name, and it now is just Internet Show.
Yeah.
It's Internet Show with Linus and Luke. I think that if we really had to, one of us could continue it without the other. But I honestly, I feel like
It'd be weird.
I feel like even if I stepped back significantly, like in terms of time, I would probably still want to do WAN Show because it's basically us just like shooting the shit, which we would do anyway. And it's immensely profitable these days. Like WAN Show made no sense for a long time. It was a complete waste of time, but we did it because the community seemed to like it, and it's always been fun for us. And nowadays with merge messages, WAN Show is like awesome. It's a huge shot in the arm for LTTStore. It's a great way to promote other initiatives that we have going on, whether it's like Whale LAN Party or LTX Expo or
like company
labs or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of awesome, right? So if someone were to come to me and say, yeah, we need to get rid of WAN Show, I'd be like, justify yourself, right? Like the burden of proof is on you now because WAN Show has been working pretty well for a long time. I don't think Terren would be stupid enough to do that, fortunately. So we'll never have to have that conversation. But it would raise serious questions for me about the competence of an executive that came to me and said, look, I think we need to get rid of WAN Show. I mean, yeah, I caused some PR uproar or whatever else, but you know what they say, no publicity is bad publicity, right?
That feels less true these days. No, wait.
Unless you get actually canceled.
Yeah.
I don't. And I think it would be pretty hard to actually cancel me because you'd have to find something actually cancelable that I've done. And
there's
not a House of Cards
creators.
reference, by the way, though it would have been very funny.
Oh, okay, I get it. That took me a second. It's been a long time since that show.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? There are creators that have been what I would call like half canceled.
Yeah.
Where
I
like
guess that's
they're
true.
still around, but they're like a figment of what they used to be.
A figment, you say.
I
Come up
questioned
with a
that
brick.
immediately afterwards. Yeah. What does that mean?
Figment?
Yeah.
I think it's just like an imagined, like a portion or something. Like, I think you were looking for like fraction.
Oh, I definitely was.
Yeah.
I'm just now wondering. A figment is something formed from imaginary elements.
There you go.
Yeah, so that doesn't really work. But yeah.
Hey,
We got people talking about like how detrimental the backpack warranty controversy was. It wasn't.
I don't think it was.
It like that's the thing that like is that the objective numbers were that there was a lot of highly visible outrage, but in the grand scheme of things, the impact was actually nothing. So like I don't know. It's not that I'm trying to be dismissive. People's feelings about it were valid, and I did not do a good job of communicating it. There were definitely errors, but from like a business impact standpoint, if someone were to come to me and say, "Oh, good heavens, what if a trust me bro happens again?" I'd be like, "Yeah, and
Whatever.
yeah, then we'll address it and we'll fix it, and everything will be fine, just like we always do."
Yeah.
Like that's the whole trust me bro guarantee. We'll figure it out. We always do.
We deal with some pretty mega fires here.
Yeah, that was nothing.
Unless the actual sky is falling, like we'll be fine.
Yeah, like I'm far more concerned about what has appeared to be a significant algorithmic shift at YouTube in the last couple of weeks. We're seeing less sort of benefit from top performing videos for the rest of the catalog compared to what I'm used to. Like if I look at the last 60 minutes right now, of it, oh man, wow. This is amazing. The top 4 and 5, number 4 and number 5, most viewed in the last 60 minutes here. Oh no, this is 48 hours. Okay, let's look at 60 minutes. Yeah, top 1 and 3 is this WAN show and last week's WAN show. How is it even possible that last week's WAN show is in the top 3 most viewed in the last 60 minutes? How is it even possible that in the top 15, number 14 is a previous WAN show from like a month ago or something like that? What is going on with VOD discoverability right now? So I've raised this to YouTube, but basically videos are coming out, not even performing badly necessarily. We've had a couple bombs in the last little while, one of which really shouldn't have been a bomb. That server video, redoing the server room or whatever it was, by every possible metric that I can access, click-through, retention, like-dislike ratio,
retention was really strong.
engagement, it was all hyper strong. The video simply didn't get served. And as far as this is another really interesting one. The I'm stepping down video had basically zero knock-on effect for the rest of the channel, which is not usually how that works. When someone watches a video, it's supposed to start recommending similar content, especially from that channel. That's a video that got 4 million views or something stupid like that in a day, and it's had no impact whatsoever on back catalog viewership. That's definitely broken. Is it unique to us? Is it something that's changed overall? I don't know, but you have to flag these things and kind of go, hey, this doesn't make any sense. And that's not to say that I'm just gonna, whine about low viewership. Obviously, we're just gonna do our best to make the best content we can every day, and we're not gonna go down without a fight. But when there's anything that looks like this or like this, always makes me suspicious. I also report it to YouTube when I feel like something unnaturally positive happened. Hey, for some reason, we are swimming hard with the current right now. Like this was a kind of a crap video and it had almost no impact on the overall viewership of the channel. Like it just is going hard right now. And it just makes no sense. Mm-hmm. And these algorithmic shifts, they happen all the time, right? Like you'll go from uploading a sponsored showcase that gets 1.5 million views to uploading an absolute banger of a unique creative video that gets 1.1, right? Like it's all over the place. And yeah, we'll figure it out. Mr. Food Drama says, my recommended videos past few weeks have been of zero interest to me. I don't know. And that's the thing is,
that's
even
an individual person.
Even Google's engineers, though, don't fully understand how their recommendation machine learning engines work. That's kind of the nature of it. They feed it what they want the desired outcome to be, and it shifts, it morphs. So... Oh, okay. Nighttime Astronaut says YouTube is definitely moving against older videos. Zeph Frank, Animal Facts posted about it this week too. That doesn't definitely mean anything. It could be niche specific. It could be creator specific. What I do know is that live is handled differently algorithmically. And so the fact that all of a sudden live streams are just dramatically disproportionately represented in recent views. Like the last 60 minutes should be predominantly videos we just published because they won't have dropped off as much yet. The fact that of these 15, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are live streams is wild.
Yeah.
When's the last time we did a live stream other than WAN Show? Why is it that some stupid live stream building a computer from 4 weeks ago is getting more videos right now in this, or more views right now in this moment than a video we published like 4 days ago? That should be literally impossible, especially if that video from 4 days ago has much better engagement, much better retention, much better everything. You should be feeding them something good. But just because they are completely different search and discovery teams, they behave really differently, and I can't explain it.
Okay, here we go. Another one. Hey DLL, I appreciate how much work the team does to create great content all year round. Has LTT Labs always been one of the end goals or vision for LTT, or when did that really come to be?
Man, the 5-year plan was like me and some bros making tech videos, and hopefully we can all get paid a living wage.
We talked about that a lot.
Yeah. I had no idea.
Hi all.
I'm totally qualified to be a chief vision officer, obviously.
I mean, it's a vision for 6 months out. That's good enough for us. Hi all, Linus. What's the best memory you've made with your Taycan thus far?
How about the one where I was actually able to drive it? It's been in the shop for like 3 weeks, the first 2 of which they couldn't even be arsed to give me a courtesy car. I got into it one morning and it just said like battery error or something. I don't know. I took a picture of it and basically sent it to the dealership, and they're like, yep, needs to be towed. Like, okay. And then I heard back, relatively quickly, I guess, to their credit, that no, I would not be getting a courtesy car because they would rather give me nothing than give me something that isn't a Porsche.
So have them on hand.
Yeah. Okay, sure. I imagine being that far up your own butthole that you would rather say F you to a customer than just anyway. And then I heard back that they apparently do not have it's a bad cell, and they do not have a single replacement cell on the entire continent. So they need to bring one in from Germany. And the ETA that I was given after the diagnosis was 3 weeks, which I think we're, 2 weeks into or something like that. All these, don't take these numbers as, gospel truth or anything like that. But yeah, I've been driving the Volt again. So cool. Good job, Porsche. Great experience. You definitely shouldn't have replacement parts on hand to fix your cars. That would be stupid.
You know what's really crazy about like my old car? It just always works.
Yeah.
It's always fine.
I mean, it's a Honda.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
What do you want, a cookie?
Yeah, I want my
You
Honda.
chose a cookie, so you are a smart shopper?
Yes.
All right.
How would past Linus, back when you all worked out of one room, react to what LTT has become today? What would he think about Screwdriver, Backpack Labs, and all of that?
Oh, I'd be mind blown. I'd just be in like geek heaven.
Yeah.
I'd be like, whoa, I want to work here. What I'm doing right now sucks.
I have to be in the same room as Luke.
I think I'd be really surprised and also not surprised at what I'm doing. I'd be like, wait, really? How did I end up there?
I stayed here for that long.
Why did I take... that's actually not too surprising to me. Once I bounced around jobs a lot when I was growing up, but I think that's pretty normal. Like, you do a different job basically every summer. I had tons of random odd jobs and stuff like that. But once we started on this road, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Something in this realm is what I want to do. And I've known that for like a long time. I think we had conversations like a really long time ago.
Well, I was worried it would be a retention problem with you.
Locked in. Yeah.
Because like, what were you going to do? Just be like a script assistant forever? Like, that wasn't going to work.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I needed to.
What the hell were you thinking?
I don't know. I still don't have an answer for this, but like, I saw something. I don't know. I was pretty confident the whole time.
I'm glad you didn't imagine it, because it could have easily gone the other way. It's like Yvonne, her bet on marrying me. Not a good gamble. I wouldn't tell my kids to make the same bet. Yeah. Like, your parents were right. You were insane. The fact that it worked out is not a testament to your incredible, divination skills.
Yeah.
You were an idiot and got lucky.
Well, see, I don't 100% agree.
I don't know. I feel like that sometimes.
I feel like that's sometimes, to be fair, but I don't think it's that simple, is what I think I'm saying, because the team that we had were all insane. And when you have a group of insane people that are all at an age where they are able to put in infinite energy and sleep for like 2 hours and then get up and keep going and all this kind of stuff, you can make some pretty crazy things happen. And like that, like first CES era level of effort, if I look at a group of people that has that level of effort and that like it's never questioned willingness to input it, and they're on a path of a new type of platform or thing that people are using that is like clearly trending to be the norm of how people use stuff, I'd bet on that again.
Yeah, but clearly trending is like...
YouTube was going to be a thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Yes.
Guaranteed at that point.
But, okay, guaranteed is such a big word in tech.
Online video was going to be a thing.
But we could have easily made the wrong bets. What if we had bet big on Periscope?
Yeah.
Right? We could have... It could have
you see
stunted
people,
our growth at the very least.
Yes, but I don't think it would have killed us. You see, like a lot of the big Vine creators, everyone just ends up on YouTube. A lot of the big Vine creators, a lot of the big Periscope creators, I don't know how many of those there were. A lot of the big whatevers were able to transition over to another platform.
Yeah, a lot of Twitch creators have made it over to YouTube. I think YouTube is still where people see the end game.
The end game, yeah. Sometimes there is a hit for sure, but you see like the Paul brothers. Like they came over to YouTube from Vine, I think and then just Vine. Exploded.
Thanks for that, Vine.
Yeah. Like it's not the end of it. So I don't know. When I see that level of like passion, level of investment, level of like complete disregard for basically everything except for like push forward as hard as you can, in an industry that is like clearly growing and extremely quickly, yeah, I'd make that bet again. So like, no, I don't know exactly what I saw, but I saw the team and that was kind of enough.
Howdy, y'all. With the new move to the CVO position, how have you prepared yourself to have an answer to a supervisor after being the CEO for so long? What happens when there are disagreements?
It's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
I haven't had a boss in like as long as my children have been alive. I mean, in general, I think my management style is pretty, let's try to reach a consensus. I'm probably right because I have more experience in this than you do. But it's not my job to just say I'm right and then go forward, because then we've basically splintered at that point. And to come back together, we will have to undo this damage that's been done. And if we continue to splinter, we continue to go further and further on our separate paths in terms of our understanding of what's best for the company, then eventually it becomes irreconcilable, right? So what I like to believe is that I try to reach a consensus, and if we can't, I try to evaluate, what the risk is of doing it the other way.
If it's not super high, allow failure.
Allow failure, yep. I try to, or if not just the risk, or I try to also evaluate how staunchly each party believes in their particular path forward. If I'm getting the vibe that they're kind of 60% on it and I am 99% sure, then I might say, okay, you really don't seem to have that much conviction. I think we should probably just do it this way. Or if they are adamant and I'm honestly not that sure, then even if it is moderate risk, maybe we do try to do it that way. It's kind of how I've always tried to do things. I'm not always perfect at it, but I'd like to think that I'm well prepared to continue to manage like that and be managed like that.
Hey, Linus, we're all putting a lot of hope and trust in the CEO. Since he was your boss, can you share something that he taught young Linus that left a lasting impact?
Oh, man. Man, he was really good at sort of, pushing me to get stuff done. Don't agonize over, every line on a PO. The big picture is, making sure that everything's getting done on time. it's a huge part of our corporate philosophy these days is ship something, right? Like get something out there, and you can always iterate, but don't just stand still. I wasn't always the best when it came to honesty and integrity. I've always been like a hustler, a boundary pusher. And I'd say that, one chat in particular that Terren had with me early on about some company gear that I requisitioned that probably shouldn't have, really set me straight on that. He found out I was like using something that I shouldn't have been using because there wasn't really any financial justification for it for the company. I was just, I wanted to play with it. And he was like, hey, no one else knows about this. He didn't rat me out. He just kind of sat me down and talked to me about it. And I really appreciated that. No, it wasn't a swing line stapler, but good joke. I got that reference.
Okay, so that's all I've got for curated. So shall we start going through some of these potentials?
Sure.
Okay, I think I'm going to go straight from the bottom. Hey, all, for career growth, do you recommend linear growth or diagonal growth between areas? I am finishing university this year and work in tech. Stability of income and maximizing income seem to be at odds.
I don't think there's any one right answer. You kind of have to do something that you want to do. I mean, this comes back to what I was saying earlier. Maybe my philosophy is that you should make a place that's, great to work, and that has a value, because that has a value to me. I would, past a certain point, obviously you need enough money to survive. But past a certain point, I would rather go do something that is not soul-sucking, even if it means less money. And fortunately, I found a way to turn my passion into something, into more money. But you'll never do that if you don't pursue something you're legitimately passionate about. But anyone can end up in a dead-end job. Anyone can make a mistake, whether they go vertical, whether they go diagonal, right? Like I had a family member who was, it's a classic story, right? Middle-aged man, been doing the same thing forever, and that industry declined, and they just became utterly unemployable. And whether their experience was broad or narrow, that's a thing, man. There's no such thing as a stable job. I mean, just look at the rise of AI, right?
Oh, yeah, no.
Jobs we thought were safe for another 50 years are all of a sudden at risk in the next 5 years.
So there's a fun thing going around where people are talking about like we always knew AI was going to take our jobs, but we were hoping it would take the like rough jobs that no one wants to do. Modern AI is sitting here making art and music and all these like creative endeavors that are more fun for people. And it's like, ugh, gross. Yeah. Another thing I would mention about what you were just talking about is to not get complacent. I think making just enough money to be fine. So deciding to not really worry about skill development or anything else because you're like okay right now or whatever is potentially attractive because it takes less energy and whatnot. But is a really, really bad idea. If you look at the modern, how much people make over time versus how much costs are going up over time, that is not a fun scenario to be in. So you got to try to keep pushing. Try to learn new skills, try to diversify your portfolio of skills so that if AI automates your job or if your industry becomes irrelevant for different reasons or whatever else, you can kind of go with the flow a little bit easier. And also try to seek excellence or specializations in some of those fields so that you can have career advancement to keep pushing further. Because life's hard. Yeah.
Linus, with you being a lifeguard in your past, did you know, or how do you feel about the minimum age for lifeguarding possibly being lower?
Sounds like a cost-cutting measure to me. Did you know that in BC, we used to have what was called a training wage, which was a lower minimum wage for workers who were just entering the workforce? I think it was your first, I forget how many hours it was, but it was a lot. It was a not insignificant number of hours. But our minimum wage was $8, I think, at the time, and the training wage was $6, or like $6 and change. And this was like not that long ago. I'm not talking $6 an hour in 1975. I'm talking $6 an hour in like 2004.
Yeah, I had multiple of these.
Yeah. So what I assume is that this is just a way to bring in younger, less experienced people so they don't have to pay them as much. And I will also say that I don't think that most people are physically developed enough under 16 is the age here. So under 16, you're telling me that some 15 or 14-year-old is going to pull like some dead weight passed out person out of a pool? Are you kidding me? I mean, Luke and I have talked extensively off stream about things like standards for firefighters, and because is it known what Cold SC is up to these days, or is it like?
I don't think there's any issue with talking about it. My brother has been trying to become a firefighter for a long time. It's a very difficult thing to get into. Some amount of that is like need to know the right people, which is unfortunate, but that's true for a lot of industries. But he got in. Yeah, but some firefighter, and he's killing it.
But some part of it is also just like the fact that standards have been adjusted to make it easier for certain people to get into firefighting, which inherently makes it more difficult for other people to get into firefighting. And, you know, without putting myself, you know, at risk of being canceled here, if I'm like passed out in a burning building from smoke inhalation, I want the hugest, most like jacked dude to be whose job it is to come in and get me. No question. And if you're going to relax these standards for carry strength and stuff like that, you better have a really good reason.
I don't care whatsoever about, I don't think the requirements of what you can do, should change, but I don't care who the heck it is.
Yeah. 100% don't care. But you better be able to like get me out of there, and not just me. Like that's the thing is when it comes to safety.
I think you used "dude" as like person.
Yeah,
but some people are going to interpret that as
sure.
So he doesn't care what gender the person is.
I don't care about anything other than whether it's me or like Luke.
I'm a big boy.
You got to be able to move the hoses. Have you ever actually tried to like carry a firefighting hose?
It's really hard.
Like for real. And those are like, I don't decide how much they weigh. They just weigh how much they weigh. I don't decide how hard it is to, perform CPR on someone. If you don't have the physical stamina to do it, then you ought not be a lifeguard. Sorry. I don't know. I talked about this a fair bit at some point. I don't know if it was on WAN Show, but the wake-up call for me when I realized that no, not everybody can do anything they want. Not everybody can do any job was when I wanted to be on the rowing team and they wanted me to be a coxswain and I wanted to row. And one of my friends, bless his heart, thank you for your brutal honesty, was like, are you f***ing kidding me? I'm like 6'2" and I'm barely tall enough to be a rower. And I'm like, oh, right. No. You actually can't just do anything you want. And sometimes there are actual requirements of a job or of a role that are not flexible. And to me, no, being able to carry someone out of a building is just sort of a requirement if you want to be a firefighter. Shout out firefighters, by the way.
And I'm just reiterating, he was using dude in a general neutral
I call
sense.
Everyone dude. I literally call my wife man. She denies it. Or she denied it until I proved it. I was like, yeah, I call you man all the time because we were having an unrelated conversation. And I was like, yeah, I just call everyone man now because it's just easier.
I say dude.
And she's
all
like,
the time.
you do not. And I'm like, yeah, I do. She's like, no, you don't. I'm like, I do it to you. She's like, no, you don't. And then She was like, you totally don't. I'm like, yeah, I do.
You like security camera catch it or something?
And then I basically said, okay, tell you what, I'll point it out next time I do it, because I don't even think about it, but I'll try to think about it. I'll point it out next time I do it. It was like 2 hours later or something. We were on the way home. I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just like a weird thing. And I waited 2, 3, 4, 5 steamboats. Hey, there, I just did it. She's like, what? I was like, I called you man. She's like, oh, yeah, you did. Didn't notice at all. I'm like, yeah, of course not. Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. I know someone's going to try to run with it, so I was just trying to re-clarify.
Okay, I got a couple more here to go. Hey, DLL, with every TV manufacturer or Google TV putting more and more ads in their software, are there any good self-hosted HTPC interfaces?
Actually, can I back up for a second?
Uh-oh. But yes.
The solution is, so people are talking about like lifeguards and stuff still in the chat. The solution, if you can't find enough people to meet the standards, is to pay more.
Yeah.
That's the actual solution. Yep. Anyway, go ahead.
My God, that's a great take.
Or make it a kick-ass job.
Or both.
Lifeguard snacks.
Terrifying.
Lifeguard snacks.
So terrifying.
Oh, I hate it. Okay, don't talk about that anymore. Hey, DLL, with every TV manufacturer, Google TV, putting more and more ads in their software, the building's about to alarm itself. Are there any good self-hosted, can I do this at the same time?
Mine's over there.
HTPC, YouTube, Netflix, MBPlex, etc. RIP Windows Media Center.
Man, I don't know. I mean, you talked about Plex already, but I don't think Plex like integrates your Netflix account or anything. I'm not really sure quite what you're asking.
Did you disable it?
Well, I think so.
I will go and
it's
doing it.
No, it's doing it. Mine's doing it.
Okay.
You're on the right building?
It's still beeping. Yeah, I'm on the right building, I think so. I mean, what do I know? I'm not even the CEO anymore. How am I supposed to know how to arm the building?
There we go. It's good.
I don't know. I use Plex. It's all right.
Nice.
And last one I've got today. Hi, LLD. Over the years of WAN shows, I have heard nods to many leadership models, e.g. Simon Sinek, Infinite Game. What leadership minds have inspired you? What philosophies have you invented?
Not going to lie, I have no idea what the you're talking about.
I'm so happy you feel the same way. I read this and I was like, oh boy.
I assumed that you would.
I've read some books that Wendell recommended me, and none of them have mentioned that, but they've been great books. Thank you very much, Wendell. I am excited to go to Computex and hang out with Wendell so he can tell me more things.
I read some of The Innovator's Dilemma, most of which I had pretty much kind of figured out. There were some sort of, oh yeah, okay, like moments in it. I read Good to Great, I think, or like some of Good to Great, which really only seemed applicable to public companies and like maximizing shareholder value.
A lot of times when I read those kind of books, they're either like, yeah, obviously,
yeah, or
it's like you're saying, maximizing returns for shareholders, or like some type of thing where it's like, this isn't how we work.
There's more to greatness than just
selling your company,
maximizing your share price. So
that, yeah, a lot of the ones in the tech space are all built around like preparing your company to try to sell it to someone else, which is like, yeah, it's not the goal.
Yeah. So for me, it's just like, what gets us best to sustainability?
Yeah.
So if anything I've talked about bears any accidental resemblance to Simon Sinek, then I guess shout out Simon for being apparently awesome. And I guess shout out me for figuring it out too. I don't know. I'm not sure. Cool though. What if the new CEO will stop you from being who you are?
I was typing a response to that.
I don't know. When it comes to business, he like made me a lot of who I am, so I'm not too worried about that.
He still owns the company.
Yeah, that too. And I own the end of this show. I'll see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye.
The CEO will never stop me. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, we need to do something about that. Okay, that's a problem. Oh no.
You could watch it really slowly.